games in China once again after the league last played preseason games in that country back in 2019.
It's time.
You know what time it is?
The game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best. Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. And now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
You know, I was going to have a great show today. I was going to have a really, really good show. But you know what I did? I cannot believe this. I forgot my collar shirt. I'll be honest with you. I don't think this is going to be able to work. I apologize. I want to apologize to the audience because this is going to be an absolute horrible show. I mean, I'm just so... I'm so confused. I don't even have my notes. Does anybody see my headphones? Where are they? Hold on a minute. Microphone. Is that working? Man, this shirt's got me all off sync. I don't even know where I'm going to go. Let's see. Let's see. Who are we playing this week? Let me think. Vanderbilt. No, that was last week. Georgia. No. Hold on. I'm telling you guys, it's really, really hard.
Is it Tennessee week yet?
Tennessee. Oh, Rocky Top. I'll never give a darn about you. No, but listen, I do have a little bit of a rant, as you can tell. I've been saving this for a couple days. I wanted to see some reaction. And I know that there's a lot of people, okay? Last night, I'm listening to the Kalen DeBoer show. And people were calling in. By the way, we're gonna have to Bama Nick, calling Bama Nick, please help us, okay? Please, Bama Nick, I'm looking at you. You've trained us to be a level of expectations, okay? Bama Nick, you have a new responsibility. You're gonna have to train some of those callers, okay? We must take a better step. But a lot of the people, now Pee Wee had a really good call. I thought Pee Wee and Grand Bay had a good call. And I think there was a couple of others that I think, Jim and Muscle Shoals was another good one. But a lot of people brought it up, and they were taking up for Kalen DeBoer because of the fashion police, okay? And I put up a post on my Facebook account. By the way, you can simply search, and I appreciate the follow. I'm up to almost 34,000 followers on my Facebook account. Just simple my name, Ryan Fowler. You could Fowler, Fowler. I put up a post, and it said, quick question. Tonight on the Kalen DeBoer Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa, there were many questions about the fashion police targeting Coach DeBoer for wearing a T-shirt on the sidelines. What is your opinion? You like it? Well, then I came back with my opinion. Says, I want to hear from your opinion, but my opinion is this. I want Kalen DeBoer to be who he is. I don't want him to come out here and be fake. I don't want him to come out here and be something that he's not. And I put it up there. I said, I could care less if he shows up in a Scooby-Doo Halloween costume, okay? If he showed up in camouflage and a double-barrel shotgun on Saturday, as long as Alabama wins, I don't care, okay? T-shirt, hoodie. By the way, you can't find those hoodies that he's been wearing. They're sold out. So maybe it's his NIL deal. Maybe that's what he's trying to help.
I've been trying to get one because I like it.
I do too. I mean, as you can tell, I don't have any of the Alabama. I don't even know if I own an Alabama shirt. I do, but I don't wear an Alabama shirt. You know, me being an unbiased member of the media, I'm just like CNN or MS. Matter of fact, I got called CNN this week. I literally got called CNN. I'm the CNN of sports talk radio because I've taken an approach of the new college football. But let me go back on a little bit of a rant, okay? I want to get distracted here because let Kalen DeBoer be who he is. Now, listen, it was extremely hot at Vanderbilt. Not excusing it. I doubt he put – what do you think in his game plan of getting ready for that team that he spent on the apparel, okay? Probably like me, okay? Let me tell you how I go to the closet. Did I do laundry? Perfect, okay? And if people ever watch me, okay, I will be honest with you. I'm a gigantic. There's two brands that I love, and probably 99.99% of my apparel is either one or two items: Under Armour or Columbia. Columbia is the majority. Under Armour is. I have, and White, I'm not sure if you ever picked up on this. I have 4 shirts that are the same color. Some people probably don't even think I do laundry, but I do. We do laundry quite a bit at the house, probably 1 load a day at least. Okay, because but I have the same color shirts. I have literally the same color shirts, so I do wash them now. But I want comfort. Kaylin DeBoer probably didn't spend a lot of time, but I'm a little bit shocked, and I'd like to go back here. Okay, I remember those days. Now, listen, we got a lot of new Alabama fans. We have a lot of people that want to benefit from the Crimson tradition and wanted to be a part of it and come to Tuscaloosa, and you want to take part in everything that's happening here. You come here for the national titles. I get it, but I remember the dark days. I remember the days that, hey, we were, 3-8s and 7-5s and 4-9s and 6-6s. And I remember when we were judging everything somebody did. Okay. We got accustomed to this Nick Saban that didn't care. And, he was everybody's favorite a-hole, right? I mean, he would jump down our throat and he was our a-hole. Okay. And we loved him. Okay. He didn't care. But it's like, okay, this new guy, and the fashion police coming in. Oh, I don't like what he's wearing. I don't like what he's... Listen, if Alabama wins a game, nobody talks about the T-shirt. I don't care, okay? Well, listen, I know our school colors are crimson and white. I get it. The black on the sidelines, he wears a black shirt. Okay. But at the end of the day, we've also never had a offensive-minded coach. I say we have. But he's got to be able to, quarterback's got to look over there and pick up, right? That's why he's wearing the opposite from the players, because he needs to be recognized. You don't need to blend in. That would be the camo option. I guess camo would stick out, that double-barrel shotgun. But, guys, please, I mean, are we going to drive the guy off the first year? I mean, are we literally going to drive him? No. Kalen is not – he's probably laughing at it. But deep down inside, it's like, guys – come on, grow up. And if you females that, because I saw a lot of females, I'm picking on females for just a minute, but I'd love to get some comments. Kit Kat down in Mobile, Karen here in Tuscaloosa, Cindy in Illinois. Help me a little bit, okay? Because I did see a lot of the comments coming from the ladies. Now, I don't know. Maybe you guys are watching football for a different standpoint, okay? I know you guys went goo goo gaga over Lane Kiffin a couple of years ago when he was around the sidelines, so I don't know if it was his football plays or maybe that you liked his hair. Or I don't know. I don't know. But I'm
Joey Freshwater.
Yeah, I mean he kept the. Anyway, I was about to say the name of the place, but I won't because we're their sponsor. He kept that place pretty busy. But like I always describe Lane Kiffin, there's some dads in Tuscaloosa who think they're dads, but they're really not dads. Everybody got that?
I hadn't heard that one before. That was good.
There's some dads in Tuscaloosa that think they're dads, but they're really not dads. 20 years from now, we'll have a look-alike contest for Lane Kiffin. It'll be very difficult to pick the winner. That's another one I like to use. Sorry, Wyatt. Just being honest, man.
As somebody who was, 12, 13 years old when this man first got to campus, it's so funny hearing the stories now. No. 10 years later, it's so funny to me hearing these stories. Yeah. And now I'm picking up on this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Listen, man, it was wild, man. It was everything that you heard. Whatever you heard, it was the truth, okay? It was the truth. But I want people to jump in because, listen, I remember the dark days of Alabama football. I remember the scandals. I remember the embarrassment. And if we don't have anything else to complain about, call me. We can talk politics. You can complain. I mean, you could say, listen, Kamala's a dum-dum, she is. And you can talk about Donald Trump's orange hair. I will give you some things to complain about. We could talk about global warming. We could talk about, governments creating storms or whatever. I mean, we can go, I can give you something. If you need to vent about something, Please, okay? Guys, we've got to be able, like I said, I want to hear the ladies. So, ladies, today, Thursday, we're doing a ladies special. Ladies, go to the front of the line. Because I want to hear from the ladies. I want to hear judging. Help me understand. Because, like I said, T-shirt, if he goes out there on Saturday, it's real hot, he wants to wear his boxer shorts, or maybe he's a tighty-whitey guy, then do it, coach. As long as we run it down South Carolina's throat and we bounce back. But let's not. Let's go back to Kalen DeBoer showing expectations, because he was asked about frustration. Listen, I can tell you the reporter that asked the question. I think it was Charlie Potter. That asked the question. I thought it was a really good question, because it has been. I'm sure he's probably heard enough of it about as well as we have. Well, he doesn't show emotions. He doesn't have to throw his headset. He doesn't have to kick anything. We got other situations that can take care of that. But this is how he was asked the question. This is how he responded about the frustration.
That wanted to see what? More frustration, more from you after a loss like the one on Saturday.
Oh, I'm extremely frustrated. We all are, but we're not going to lose our cool over that. We understand, what happened, and a lot of what I see in the response, even in the locker room, I guess, are you talking like press conference afterwards or something? That's really the only time you could have seen me, I guess. I think that's me seeing what already is happening in 30 minutes, 20 minutes after the game's over. And I saw extreme frustration. I saw guys wanting to stick together, wanting to still do something special, believing in each other, expressing that. I had my part in there too, where, we understood, what happened, and that it's not up to our standard and how we had to proceed forward. And so, yeah, we are all extremely frustrated. But we aren't going to sit and lose our cool, because, I don't think that's the right way to go about it. There's a time and place for everything. And again, we're still early in the season. We left ourselves a little less wiggle room to achieve some of the goals we have, but those goals are still out there, and we need to just focus on what our whole mindset is always to improve every single day. And that's never going to change. And to improve, I think you got to have things in perspective and focus on the right areas. And our whole team is doing that.
There it is. All right. So, but that doesn't mean he's not frustrated. It's just he doesn't have the visual frustration. But maybe he's not frustrated. Maybe we question he's frustrated. Okay. Anyway, you hear where I'm going. And listen, I'm a guy that I love opinions, and I love different opinions. Even though I'm very one-sided, and I went to the University of Alabama, and they were not able to convince me in about 7 years of education through grad school. I am who I am. But I'm also going to respect the other side as far as opinions. Even though I'm going to tell you you're wrong, I still want to listen to your opinion. And I'd love for maybe you can convince me. Maybe you can convince me in this world that we live in. I don't mind the T-shirt. I don't mind the Scooby-Doo costume. I don't mind whatever this new camouflage that they're doing. I'm not talking about going to my closet and getting some hunting apparel, but the camouflage colors that they wear, it doesn't bother me. Wyatt, jump in, and then I'm going to go to Rodney Orr.
So my wife, right? My Twitter feed and stuff has started to bleed into hers because she's seeing all my content. She said, I don't care if he's wearing a pink tutu and a Vote for Kamala t-shirt. Ooh. This man wins a football game. Who the heck cares?
Now, hold on. Now I draw the line.
Well, she's very on our side of things here.
Okay. But I mean, he
beats Tennessee. Do you care?
Yeah, I would.
He beats LSU. He wins a national championship. Do you care?
A Vote for Kamala t-shirt? I mean, listen, they tried to drag him into politics a couple of weeks ago when Trump was here. He's not going there. He's too smart. He's too bright. Okay. Smart guy. But I hear you. I don't really care. If he wanted to wear a I Love Kamala t-shirt, which, I would question. But if that's what he wants to wear, Let it rip, Tater Chip. Go for it. All right, we're going to Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. Bruce Marshall will talk with us at 3 o'clock. We'll feature him. Brad Powers coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll take your phone calls. Love to hear from you. 205-342-9904. Like I said, I value opinions. I do sports talk radio. They always say, that's why he's going to deliver the goods. 2:15 is our segment every Thursday. Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. Hey, Rodney, I hope the tuxedo is not too hot out there. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
No, Ryan, I'm not wearing a tuxedo. I mean, I've got a, I probably shouldn't plug somebody, I guess, but
you're fine.
Locker room.
Plug away.
Yeah. Alex over at the locker room, this little, this elephant wear shirt. It's just a little pullover. It's an Alabama shirt, right? Got my workout pants on. Just did a little elliptical and,
well, this segment's not going to be worth a darn. I mean, Rodney, I don't know.
I'm late. Look, the endorphins are kicked in, Ryan, so there's no telling what I'm going to say.
Rodney, you've been around this program for a long time, okay? I didn't realize this shirt thing was a meltdown. If you want to get upset about Alabama's defense, you want to talk about Alabama, maybe the couple of turnovers that grab your attention, but what's been your reaction from the shirt police?
Well, let me say this, because some of this probably won't be very popular with your group there, your listeners. But, I go back to following this since 1968, Alabama. So I'm one of them. Okay. I'm one of the Alabama people. So I'm going to speak kind of from the heart here. It's embarrassing. And I'm not talking about his attire. I'm talking about the reaction of Alabama fans.
Amen.
I mean, I don't get it. I'm a little bit embarrassed by the response.
Me too.
I mean, look, you can have your opinion. You can say that maybe you don't think he was appropriately attired, whatever, okay? But you know what? I mean, I think to me, I think however he wants to present himself, I don't see what he was on the sideline as being unpresentable at all. I think it's a little minute deal that Alabama fans worry about.
I was told I did not make it to Vanderbilt, okay? I did not make it to Vanderbilt, but I had lunch today with a guy who did. I have talked to several parents of players. I was even told by a group of parents who told me that they couldn't even watch the game, that it was one of the hottest games that they've ever attended, okay? That it was pretty – and I'm not – listen – But whatever. I mean, I'd rather him be cool in whatever way that you can be cool and wear what you got to wear. I said, I don't care if you come out with a Scooby-Doo underwear. It doesn't bother me. I mean, as long as Alabama plays a little better, and we'll get into what Alabama did, and we'll get your thoughts there. But just the reaction.
Let me say this real quick, Ryan. I think it's much more important about how Kalen DeBoer presents himself as a person.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, first of all, I don't have anything to say about what he wore. His attire, I don't care if he wears a hoodie. It doesn't really matter to me. I think he's appropriate. But he's a very classy guy. I mean, he presents himself extremely well. He represents the University of Alabama, as Nick Saban would say, in a first-class way. So that's really what I'm interested in. And then he put out a good product on the field. That's certainly very key. But just the way he conducts himself, the way he has handled himself since he's been here, I mean, Alabama fans should be very, honored to have him as representing this football program.
Yeah, it's a great way to say it. I think he's solid class. And I think the other part is now, unlike maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you've got to be able to connect with your players. You know that you're the leader, but I think another way that you connect with your players, be who they are. Wear a lot of the apparel. Hey, you got to. I mean, because look at all the Rodney. I don't even have a cool pair of those shoes, but what are they? 1831s that everybody's wearing out there. I mean, we saw Nick Saban with like 20-year-old Air Maxes that were old, and they stuck like 10 boxes back in the. No, I mean they did. I mean they literally saved them back. They saved them back, and then when they ran out of them, we quit winning. But he's out there wearing the Cool Kids Club, the shoes. Now, like I said, I mean, but that's kind of blending in. It's look. I mean, he's got the kicks on. What do they call them? Kicks.
Yeah.
You and I are not in that club. That's okay. But we're not trying to recruit 16, 17, 18-year-old young men either.
Yeah. And I think, this is the first year we see transitions, Ryan, all the time. And when you're on at this magnitude, the magnitude of this transition, going from, certainly the greatest of our era here, at least over the last 40 years, saw Coach Bryant's, in 1982, the transition to Ray Perkins into the 1983 season. But I say all that to say there's a lot of things when you have a new coach come in. He's still familiarizing himself with a lot of things.
Sure.
The culture here, the players, these are all firsts for him. And the players, too, for that matter, with this coaching staff. So there's generally going to be some bumps in the road, points of adversity, and it's how you respond to those things. And, everything had gone very smoothly for the most part. I think it was an extended honeymoon, if you will, with Kalen DeBoer that abruptly ended last Saturday. And people are, the overreaction or the reaction is something that doesn't surprise me at all. And I know it doesn't surprise you. We've seen it before. Understandably, you lose to Vanderbilt. But again, I'll say this too. There's some things that obviously they have to get corrected with this team. I really like the offense. I think there's a lot of potential there to be even better. They're extremely explosive. I love watching Ryan Williams. Jalen Milrose made a lot of improvement. I think the offensive line is going to continue to develop and get better and better and better. The receivers, everything that I see offensively is pretty encouraging. Defensively on the other side, you could see early on in the season, they were having trouble in different games, stopping the run, receivers running free. Then the Georgia game, that first half, you're like, wow, maybe they've been preparing defensively for this game all along. And then the second half, but the last 6 quarters have been, all this story. It's not been good the last 6 quarters. So Vanderbilt was a really different kind of game in terms of preparation for what they do, their offense. And it didn't look like Alabama was well prepared. This is my take on the defensive side of the ball for what Vanderbilt does. They were confused. They were flat-footed, didn't seem to make many adjustments. So you kind of saw how it all played out. And now the question is, moving forward, what do they do defensively? They're going to be facing teams or offenses for the most part. We're not going to see much of what we saw with Vanderbilt, I don't think. So it'll be interesting to see defensively, the improvement that they made. And that's kind of where we are, and this is a really big game on Saturday.
Ronnie, when you look at the biggest improvement, you've kind of highlighted one unit. Is there something that you're looking at that unit when you look against South Carolina that you want to see a little bit better performance to know that they fixed some of the issues?
Well, I think, just defensively as a whole, it just, whether it's the front, the linebackers, the secondary, I think there's room for all of them to improve. I think that's the key. I think it's everyone on that side of the ball needs to get on the same page. It appears. Again, I'm not there. I can't sit here and I can only repeat some of the things I've heard and kind of observed from myself. And it just seems like in some ways they're just not quite on the same, or they certainly weren't on the same page against Vanderbilt. So that's really what I'm watching is defensively. How do they kind of rebound from this? Because I'm sure there's some shaken confidence, and there has to be. I know my confidence is not very strong right now in the defense with all the conversion downs that they've given up the last 2 weeks. Just seem to be in a little bit of, telling you what I see. They seem to be in a little bit of disarray on that side of the ball. So I think they've got to get on the same page, and I think they potentially can. I've talked to some people that have been former DCs and, people that I know that have talked to others, and they seem confident that Alabama can get some of this corrected. So they didn't think it was that dire of a situation in terms of not being able to get things corrected, which is good. It's really good to hear. But we'll just have to see how, starts this Saturday. This is a really big game.
Rodney, when you look at Alabama's rushing attack, we know what Jalen Milroe has been able to do with the football in his hands. We've seen the improvement with the passing, even against Vanderbilt. There were some tight windows that he was able to find the creases and able to connect and able to throw for over 300 yards. But in the running back situation, what, in your opinion, is it just a dedication to running the football a little bit more, maybe a commitment to get those backs involved? Because I sure would love to see them. You talk about pressure off that defense. That'll help. It'll help some.
Well, I think Milroe's taken a lot of the running game. What he carried in this game, I don't remember, Ryan. You may have the numbers in front of you, but he's carrying it a couple 16 times in some of these games. And, it's taken away carries from the running backs. I mean, that's just the way it is. So you got to highlight his talent. And some of those are reads that he has to keep the ball that he could hand off to the running back depending on what he sees. But a lot of the running game has been Milroe. So those guys aren't getting the ball as much. And then in this last game, too, I think a lot of it was dictated by you fall behind 23-7, and they have to throw the ball. They're trying to catch up, and Vanderbilt's possessing the ball every time they get it, and Alabama doesn't have enough possessions. You start to worry about, are they going to run out of time? And so it just worked out where Vanderbilt had 42 minutes of possession time. And I think they had to probably maybe kind of start focusing on, hey, we got to throw the ball. We got to have a little bit more sense of urgency about scoring so we can get back in this thing. And I think that probably dictated the running game there. I agree with you, though. You have Jam Miller, you have Justice Haynes. I think Alabama could have a really strong running game. I think they have an offensive line that can certainly do the job. So now we'll just have to kind of see how they eventually how this thing eventually goes.
Rodney Orr, TighterInsider.com. From a health standpoint, you look at the injury report last night that we get. The Kendrick Law, we got to find a way to get him healthy. He's a big part of the offense, and even when the ball's not in his hands, he sets that edge with that nasty blocking style that he's got.
Yeah, I'd like to see Kendrick back in there. I really like him. I thought he was going to be a real big factor this year, and he has been. In doing some of the things, the blocking and all of that. He doesn't have a lot of statistics. Unfortunately, he hasn't gotten the ball in his hands, and then the injury slowed him down when it looked like in that game he was going to be able to be more productive, and then he got injured. So hopefully, Kendrick Law gets back in, because I think he's a tone setter. When you see a guy go out and knocking people's heads off, as a blocker at the receiver position, I think that's a tone setter. And I think that is a really important part of this offense. So, hopefully you can get Kendrick Law back in there quickly.
Rodney Orr, TighterInsider.com, TighterInsider.com. Rodney, I'll see you inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. And did you have a score prediction for this game? Vegas has got it about 21, 22 points. Where does Rodney Orr have?
Yeah, I did, Ryan. I really kind of try to imagine the game in my mind a little bit and kind of play it out. And I think it's going to be a really tight game. Again, I'm a little concerned about the game. Because Alabama's got to bounce back mentally in this game, and that maybe that'll be a little bit of a sluggish start, but I've got Alabama kind of coming to life maybe in the second half and taking the game over and winning 38-20.
38-20. So right outside of that margin when you look at the Vegas experts out there. Rodney Orr, TighterInsider.com, TITV, WVUA, each Tuesday, 6:30, 10:30. It's also archived on TighterInsider.com. Rodney Orr, editor of the founder of the incredible website, Tighter Insider. Rodney, I thank you for your time, man. Have a great rest of your afternoon. And, hey, see if you can dress up the next time we talk, okay?
I'll do it, Ryan. Thank you.
I'm just teasing with you. But your performance was fine. Thanks, Rodney.
I'll show up looking respectable on Saturday.
Okay. As long as you do that, we're okay. Thanks, Rodney. Have a great rest of your day, man.
Okay, Ryan.
Thank you. Rodney Orr, we're kind of sarcastically, but I'm not going to be sarcastic the rest of the day, okay? But I want to hear from you guys. Roy in Kansas, get ready. We're coming to you. 205-342-9904. But are people where I'm at, or maybe you see it a different way? Maybe you can convince me to come to your team. We'll continue with more of the game. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. 3325 Skyline Boulevard and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. But if anybody's got a... All right, we'll talk to Bruce Marshall at 3:30. We're taking your phone calls. We're going to go to Roy in Kansas. Rumsey Environmental. It's a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. When you have to know it's being done right, that's the time to call Rumsey Environmental, 205-248-0002, 205-248-0002. All right, so now I'm going to shut up. Okay, I want everybody else to jump in. I want everybody else to share their opinions. Let's go to Roy in Kansas. Roy, good afternoon. You're in the game. First up, I hope all is well. Hey, Roy. Roy. He sounds like he's there. Let me put him back on hold. Is phone lines ready? We're ready? Okay, let me put Roy back on because it sounds like he's there. Let's try 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. I don't want to skip Roy, but I guess we're going to have to. Marty, Arkansas. Marty, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All well, Ryan. Ryan, what are you looking for? What are you looking for in Saturday's game?
I absolutely want to smoke South Carolina. I want to beat them like a drum. I want to be able to reestablish that confidence, that momentum that we had coming out of that Georgia game. I want Alabama to play with a toughness on the defensive side of the football, a physicality to not avoid tackles, to not avoid, ducking your head, a physicality that we haven't seen in about 6 quarters.
We haven't seen it at all, and that front four need to come on. If we don't get more pressure out that front four, we're going to have to go put 6 in the box and play a cover 2. We're not going to be able to put 6 in the box and not get them and play a man-to-man.
And South Carolina, can be a...
No, they can't. They can't. Where I'm looking forward on is how they got those 2...
edge guys.
Defensive edge guys and how we hold up.
It'd be a good test for our tackles to see if we're ready to take that next step. We saw... the whiff by Elijah Pritchett, lowered his head and got gone. That's how quick it can happen, man. That's how quick it can happen.
Oh, yeah, it can happen quick. I just hope we don't. Maybe they come in on there and Melrose does a circle up and goes 50 yards for a touchdown, and they don't come so hard. So I don't know.
South Carolina's not going to test you a lot offensively. They're one of the worst teams in the SEC. They're at 14th. But you know who's at 13th?
Vanderbilt.
Yep. So.
And you know what? I'm going to see what Ryan, just like that guy said yesterday, Boise, Army, Navy are the leading rushers. And the only reason they're leading rushers, they scheme you and you don't know that offense.
That's right.
Boise got that running back. And I want to see what Army and Navy does when they play Notre Dame with this style. But I want to see what Vanderbilt does against that Kentucky front 7, too. I mean, I watch about 7 football games. I got TV that I can do, DVR, and I watch 7 or 8, and we break them down, all the games and stuff. But I just want Alabama to get back. I just want that defense to get – if we want to play the sport, Dale says we can't play the sport. Well, we're going to play it. If we play the 4-2-5, we're going to have to get more pressure out that front 4. They got to be Alabama, get to be some Jimmy and Joes or whatever you want to call them. They got to start playing some defense and knocking some heads and going through that gap and putting that quarterback and that running back down. But I want to see us run the. I know his offense is different. He wants to score in 1 minute, so I mean that's the way he was out there in Morrison. Get back there, score in 1 minute and put more points on the board than anybody else. But I just want us to see Hines get 100 yards one time. Run it about 20 times and let's melt that clock and get out of there.
You mentioned that, and I mentioned that with Rodney Orr a couple of minutes ago. When you look back at this Alabama attack, it would be nice if we can establish a little bit of that run. And I thought, we might see that against Vanderbilt. We didn't. But I think really they were chasing points.
We had to start chasing points when we got down 14-0.
And we started out really well with Jam.
We did. I think Kalen mentioned that last night on the coaches show. That first couple of runs were successful, but then kind of got behind the 8 ball a little bit. So.
Yep. All right, Ryan, I know you got a lot of callers in that, and I'll yell at you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Marty. Hey, are you wearing a T-shirt or are you wearing a tuxedo?
Ryan, you know what? My clothes are blue jeans and stuff, and it's like old school. You know what? How many, you go to church every Sunday, how many old school people, how many young folks wear a tie and a sports coat and a pair of dress pants these days?
And only the old farts.
Only the old people, and that's me. I mean, I just wear my Alabama sweatshirts, even though I get ridiculed. I got about 4 or 5 of them, and a pair of jeans and a pair of sneakers.
No, I'm saying, be respectful, but the old people, they love it. I mean, they love it.
Oh, I know. I mean, yeah, but wear your best, and you're going. But I'm not doing that. But you know what? If he wants to wear an undershirt out there, it don't matter if it has an A on it or just a white shirt. He's out there to coach, and he wants to feel comfortable coaching. He's not a person to go out there like Gene Stallings and the old 1960 guys and wear a suit and tie and sit on the sideline. They used to get so mad at Woody Hayes when he wore a short sleeve shirt in the snow up in Ohio. So, hey, I've been around the block, and I've known teams, but I don't care what he wears. I don't care where he wears like the guy that wears at that one school. He's won 7 state championships. All he wears is his undershirt and a pair of shorts, and he don't care how cold it is out there. And everybody laughs at him, but he wins the football game. And that's like Saban. Saban won we didn't criticize Saban on some things because he won. If we would have won this Vanderbilt game, we wouldn't be talking about what he's wearing and what he's not wearing.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate you, man.
All right. Bye-bye, Ryan.
Right back to you. 205-342-9904. Bubba, you wearing a T-shirt or tuxedo?
I'm wearing a T-shirt, and it's tight.
Well, this call is going to stink. Go ahead.
What do you mean this call's going to stink?
You can't perform unless you're wearing a suit and tie.
Oh, I know. You know, I'm sick of all this whining that's been going on all week. This is ridiculous. I mean, if I had to hear the number 425 again, I'm going to freaking scream. My gosh, people grow freaking up.
Get them, man. Get them.
Yeah. And let me tell you about the clothes issue. That's the most stupid thing people ain't got nothing else to talk about. I don't care if he runs out of that tunnel in an Alabama Speedo with red flip-flops.
Or how about Crocs, man? You know what I mean? Like
Crocs,
those Crocs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like a Speedo.
The same ones Digger
Crocs.
wears, right?
Yeah, Digger wears Crocs. But the only problem is he doesn't wash his feet. He's got all that toe jam, and those Crocs build that up a little bit.
Ryan, you remember the first game Mike Debo coached? He came out there in a suit and a tie, didn't put no handset or nothing. That lasted they got on his butt about that. I was trying to be like Stallings and Bert Bryant and all of them. They gave him heck about that. He come out there with khakis and a polo on with a headset on the next time. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah. Oh, listen, I mean, I've been around here for quite a while. I mean, I remember a lot of the complaining that went around. But, Bill Belichick didn't wear a lot of nice clothing either. He wore like something that was out of a thrift store. But
he's so tight with his money, I bet you. He probably did get them at the surplus store.
Yeah, probably. But
he wears a suit when he appears on TV now.
He does. He doesn't even look the same person, though. I mean, Bill Belichick does not. Bubba, what do you want to see from this Alabama football team to know that they're headed back in the right direction?
Domination.
Simple enough.
On both sides of all phases of the game. Literally, I want when Mike Shields in that press box watching that team, and I want him to realize what we have become since him.
Okay.
Well, we just lost to Vanderbilt.
Well, I know that I'm sick about that game. That game's over. It's time to move on, guys. It's time to move on, and that's what South Carolina.
Don't let one loss cost you to lose two, right? Hopefully the team has a 1-0 mentality. That's what he always says. He preaches it 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 mentality.
Democracy.
Yeah, but I don't know if that worked last week. We played that audio clip. That may not have worked, but
I want Sunday, South Carolina to think. I'm sure I hate that we had to face them after getting beat by Vanderbilt. I want them to regret it. I really do. Put their foot on the floats and don't let go.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks.
Roll Tide.
Hey, we welcome you right back into the game. T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. We welcome you right back in. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Scala Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership. How about a Tundra? How about a Tacoma? You got some great interest specials with a couple of $1,500 loyalty cash on the Tacoma two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and the Tundra two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, offering a $2,000 loyalty cash. It is Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. 3325 Scala Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com, as we are now 25 days away from Alabama Crimson Tide basketball, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union, AlabamaCU.com. Let's continue. JR, Coker, Alabama. JR, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Good afternoon, Rod.
How are you, JR?
I'm doing a lot better.
Well, good. Roll Tide to you, man.
What have you been asking everybody?
Well, first off, before I can approve this phone call, is we got to make sure that you're wearing the proper attire.
Oh, I'm wearing the cheapest thing you can get.
Well, this
my birthday suit.
Oh Lord, are you calling me naked?
No.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Oh no. I wouldn't do that. I just was joking.
I'm just making sure. I'm making sure.
As long as Coach DeBoer doesn't try to get out there in his birthday suit, I think he's fine.
I mean, he is a very, very humble guy. I mean, a guy that is, if you go and study who he is, Millbank, South Dakota, little small town. He's not a very extravagant guy. I mean, if I told you he was still driving the demo vehicle that the university gave him, would you believe me?
It would be hard to believe that.
And I'm not going to reveal something, but he doesn't need all the necessities, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, where he stayed for the first 6 months of his tenure in Tuscaloosa, he didn't need a lot, okay? He's very humble, okay? He doesn't need the penthouse at the Chimes or the Embassy Suites downtown. He's a very, very humble individual. So
I can see that in him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not that guy. He is who he is, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's willing to follow Nick Saban. I mean,
how do you like his speeches? I mean,
he's down to earth. He's down to earth. I mean, he's a guy that
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, he gives you, as far as a reporter, he's not going to give you too much, but most coaches don't. They give you coach talk. But I mean, he's fine. I mean, I mean, the audio sounds. Listen, I'm a country bumpkin from North Alabama. He's probably a country bumpkin from South Dakota.
Is that where he's originally from? South Dakota?
Yeah. I mean, I said Millbank.
Okay.
Yeah, Millbank. That's where he's little small town, almost on the Minnesota line. I think it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Within 30, 40 minutes from Minnesota. So, and you know how people of Minnesota talk, don't you? Minnesota. But
oh yeah. What was that movie that was? Was it? No, it was out of Dakota, one of the Dakotas. What was it called? Anyway, had a real strange speaking people. It was this lady cop. Never mind. And I missed on the predictions.
Yeah, most people did. We.
I tried calling yesterday.
Oh, you mean the score prediction presented by Southern Ale House? Yeah, we were pretty jammed up, but I thought you were talking about missed on at Vanderbilt. I was about to say, yeah, we all did.
Oh, I missed on that one by a long shot. I said 63-0.
Yeah, 60. Yeah. Well, JR, we won't tell anybody that you picked that score if that's okay.
Oh, don't tell nobody. Nope, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, we're so
63-0. Oh my gosh, I knew right off the bat the way they drove down the field. Seemed to have no problems. I mean, they just made it look easy on us, and I went, "Oh, this is going to be a long game."
What do you want to see from Alabama against South Carolina?
What do I foresee it on that one?
No, so what do you want to see?
I definitely want to see our defense stiffen up and play a tougher game, and because I really believe offensively we were okay against Vandy. Maybe we should have scored more and still won the game, but our defense really hurt us. And if we can just straighten out a lot of the mistakes that were made on the defensive side of the ball, particularly the defensive line, I believe, it wouldn't have hurt to have the defensive backs to pick up pace a little bit as well. But nonetheless, just the defense in general needs to be a much more of improvement on their game. And if I had to predict a score, which I missed earlier this week, I would have said 38-10.
I know what you're trying to do, JR. You're trying to make me feel bad. I know what you're doing. It's not going to work.
Wedge it in there. Wedge it in there. Come on.
It's not going to work. But we'll do our parlay picks tomorrow, and you can count that in.
Nobody has to know. You can sneak it in, and nobody has to know.
We do it on Tuesday and Wednesday. It would be very unethical to the other folks. So I can't.
Oh, I called.
You didn't get in. That's part of the contest. It's a challenge, man. It's a challenge. It's like winning a national title. If everybody did it, it wouldn't be as satisfying.
Well, I had a 4:00 doctor's appointment, and then I had something before that I had to go do. I just had no chance before the doctor's appointment, and then afterwards I didn't have much time.
Now, yesterday we had some openings yesterday, so
I was not available.
Okay. Well, we'll try to get in a little different direction, man. But, JR, appreciate you, man, always.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you.
Talk to you again soon.
Right back to you. Let's go 205-342-9904. Bama Jam, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, Ryan. How you doing?
Good. How's the state of Texas? You guys ready for the Red River rivalry out there?
Yeah, I guess they are. I haven't really been paying much attention to it. I had my first grandbaby this week.
Oh, well, congratulations to you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was exciting, and we got to see our first grandbaby, which came on our anniversary, believe it or not.
Well, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you, man. What a blessing.
Yeah, it is a blessing. So I've been back and forth to the hospital, taking my wife back and forth. So it's been a pretty busy week. So, but they're going to be fired up for it. That's a game, definitely a very competitive game. I think Oklahoma could give them some trouble with that defense they have. I don't know. They're going to lose. Texas is going to lose.
And then the Longhorns.
They're going to lose one of the next two games.
All right. Well, and then I'm not saying that they're going to lose to Vanderbilt, but that triple option is hard to prepare for in just a short amount of time. They got to go to Nashville to play Vanderbilt. So you got to go. You've got Oklahoma this week, emotional game, right? Rivalry game. Then you got Georgia coming to town. So right there within itself is a challenge. And then you got to go play Vanderbilt on the road, which is a style of play that we saw. Hey, man, you smack down Georgia, then all of a sudden you go get smacked down by Vanderbilt.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, they're not. They're on the radar
But, you
now.
know, think about, well, great point. They won't slip up on anybody. Great point. Yeah. Hey,
I think it was a combination of, you know, everybody was so fired up about beating Georgia, and they just couldn't stop talking about beating Georgia. I mean, even on the show, I mean, even up and through maybe Wednesday or, you know, maybe even Thursday, people were still talking about Georgia. And traditionally, Vanderbilt has always been the bottom of the barrel in the SEC, so nobody really, it's Vanderbilt. And then even Nick Saban said, well, Vanderbilt's the best place to play on the road. I mean, because Alabama fans outnumber the Vanderbilt fans. And, I mean, it was just a perfect storm, really. You know, we came off a big emotional high, and we went up there, and, of course, you know, everybody's going to give you their best game when you're number one. And the players can say what they want, but when they went out on the field, it's kind of like they were not. I mean, they were trying, but they weren't. It was kind of like they were just going through the motions the first, you know, maybe the first two quarters. It seemed like that they just weren't as engaged as they have been, you know. And I don't know. It kind of exposed, in my opinion, exposed our defense, exposed our team. You know, the blueprint for beating Alabama is now out there. It's keep the ball away from the offense, you know. If you can keep the ball away from our offense, and which they did. They did a tremendous job, you know. I mean, congratulations to Vanderbilt. I don't think they'll do it again, but they did it Saturday, you know.
So, Bama Jam, any opinions about the apparel that Kalen DeBoer is wearing? Did you like it? Did you have a problem with it? Are you neutral?
I don't care if he comes out.
See, I've talked to so many people that feel the same way that you do.
And a straw hat with, you know, corncob pipe. I don't care what he comes out there in, just as long as he does his job, you know.
Okay.
I mean, what is everybody else saying?
Well, you got a few that are upset, man. They're having a meltdown
because they don't have a life.
Good point.
I mean, if you're getting upset about what the coach is wearing, go get a life, you know. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was disappointing. It was like one of those. It's like you're looking at the season and you're thinking, okay, well, you know, we might go 10-2. Well, we could lose to Georgia. We could lose to, you know, Tennessee or maybe another team. So you're thinking Alabama might be 10-1, 10-2. Well, so you win the one that everybody was thinking you might lose. So now you're on cloud nine. Then you lose the one everybody thought you were going to win. So that puts you right back where, you know, what's it going to be? You know, I think the next 3 weeks are going to be the tale of our team. You know, you got South Carolina, Tennessee, and Missouri, and all three of them are going to be a challenge. You know, South Carolina's not a bad team. I mean, they lost to they went up and beat Kentucky, didn't they? Or did they lose to Kentucky?
Let me think. About.
I think they beat Kentucky, didn't they?
They did. They did. That's right, because we all thought Kentucky was okay. Hey, they're legit. And they went to Kentucky and whipped them. I don't remember the score, but that was a whipping.
And then, you know, watch them in some of the other games that they've played. They've been very competitive.
Well, but also like the first game against South Carolina, maybe that what we thought that was going to set that up is the way they played against Old Dominion, 23-19. Then they play LSU.
Well, they almost, you know, they could have won that game, you know. So, I mean, they're not a slouch. They're not.
So their wins are against Kentucky on the road, which is an impressive win, Old Dominion, and then Akron. They've lost to Ole Miss and LSU.
Yeah, they shouldn't have lost.
And they're going to lose Saturday.
Yeah, they're going to lose. They're going to lose. They're going to lose for sure. But you can't overlook them. And I think, you know, it's if you had to lose one on the schedule, you know, Vanderbilt was a good loss because it does a couple of things. It reminds you that, hey, in the SEC, you got to be ready every week. And, you know, Vanderbilt's not the traditional Vanderbilt anymore. I think, what did he bring in, like 50-something players in the portal?
It was like 58. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, he brought in basically a whole new team. So, but, you know, the SEC is a lot more has a lot more parity than it used to. I mean, it used to be.
It's not even close. I mean, this is the new college football. This is it.
Yeah. People are moving and switching, and you don't have the depth on the lines and stuff. And you get past the first string, then you're. So anyway, but I think we'll be okay. I'm a little, looking at the next 3 games, the one in the middle.
So, but to go back to South Carolina, you touched on this earlier, but what do you want to see Alabama do against South Carolina that will give you confidence going into the Tennessee week?
I want to see the offense not skip. I don't want to see them come out and have a good series. And
is that simply because of the defense? We don't have a lot of margin of error over there?
Well, the defense, I don't know what to think about the defense, honestly. I mean, the first half of Georgia, they played lights out. The second half, they didn't. And
they've given up 67 points in 6 quarters.
So I don't know.
So that puts a lot of pressure on the offensive side of the football, man. You got to score every possession.
Well, it kind of takes you back to the LSU championship a few years ago, and then one we won, without the defense in 20 as well. But I think the defense is going to come back, and I think they're going to come back strong because, number one, they know everybody's dogging them. And there's too much pride in that locker room to not come out and smash them in the mouth. We're talking about Alabama football. Okay, there's a lot of pride on that team. And those guys know they blew it. I mean, you saw it at the end of the game. Malachi Moore was so frustrated he kicked the ball. I mean, just totally frustrated. I guarantee you that defense is going to come out on fire, and they're going to take care of business.
Well, you're going to have to correct the mistakes because they're not going to throw you a mulligan. They're not going to throw you a life preserver. They're going to attack your weaknesses where you're at. You're going to have to fix those, and going to have to be more physical.
They're going to fix them, is what I'm saying. They're going to fix them. They're going to come out. And they're going to come out strong. That's what I'm saying. Write it on your calendar. Bama Jam from Texas.
Bama Jam. Hey, by the way, that Johnny in Mobile, Johnny, thank you for listening. He interacts with us a lot. He said, Vandy, a good loss. Y'all are out of y'all's mind. He's talking about you and I. So, but what we need is Vanderbilt to do something,
right?
Well,
it's a wake-up call.
Well, okay, but to go to Vanderbilt just for a couple of seconds is we need them now to go do some damage, to go and make that win or that loss for us, for our side, to make it, don't go lose to Georgia State again, which they don't play Georgia State again. But
and that's what I'm saying. There's too much pride in that locker room,
And who knows? Maybe we gave them some momentum. They may take it and use it to their advantage.
No, I think I think the whole team's ticked off, and they're going to come out and they're going to show the world. They're going to show everybody that hey, we lost last week, but we mean business. They're going to take care of business this week. Yep.
I hope you're right. Bama Jam, thank you, man. It's good to hear from you. Listen, man, you got to keep up to date with those Aggies, man. I'm sure they're probably because you live.
They're spitting fire after beating Missouri.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. When did they
They're
play?
talking big. They're all talking real big right now.
When did they play Texas?
They're talking playoffs, SEC championship.
Bless
they're
their
talking
little heart. and Texas A&M. So that they beat. I know they beat Arkansas. They beat Missouri. Notre Dame beat them, and they beat McNeese in Florida and Bowling Green. So I believe I'd pump the brakes just a little bit. But they got Mississippi State next weekend. That's a win. LSU at home, that's probably a win. At South Carolina's probably a win. New Mexico State, man, their schedule is whoo.
They don't have a tough schedule.
No, they don't.
I think they'll win out all the way up to Texas.
Yeah, because think about it. They got Mississippi State on the road. That's a win. Yep. LSU at home, that's a win. At South Carolina, that's a win. New Mexico State, unless you're Auburn, that's a win. Yep. Then at Auburn, should be able to win that game. And you got Texas at home. Wow.
So you could have them in the top 10 by the end of the year.
Maybe that's the team. I know we've talked about them. 5-1, first in the SEC. So, but
their defense did look really good, though.
They did. All right.
Really good.
Bama Jam, appreciate you, man.
Roll Tide, buddy.
Yeah, roll Tide. We'll come back. We'll break. We got Bruce Marshall coming up. Brad Powers is going to come up. We'll take, when you look at South Carolina, but defensively, got a little speed, got a little secondary. But that defensive front going to test our edge as far as our tackles a little bit. We'll see how they respond. Let's continue, and we go to Pat. Pat, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Ryan, first off, it must be really, really hard to find a subject if we need to talk about what Coach DeBoer's apparel is.
Yeah, see, I've not been able to find anybody that other than just on social networks. So either we have a bunch of trolls out there that are pretending to be Alabama fans that are just doing it, or I mean, did you have a problem with it? No.
I thought the first day that I saw him come out in a black sweatshirt, how smart that was to be able to have, because you could easily pick him out. With Coach Saban, I used to have to hunt up and down the side of the field with binoculars to find Coach Saban a lot of times, and that to have it was easy for anybody to spot him because people are wearing crimson or they're wearing white. There's nobody else wearing black but him. You know, I mean, do you not agree?
I think it's. There's little things that they do. Obviously, he's an offensive-minded guy, so he needs that quarterback to be able to look over vision standpoint to be able to communicate. So he's highly involved with both sides of the football, but I mean, offense, as we know, is his expertise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, only thing that would have been any better, the guys they were there at the football game, the guys and the man and lady that come to the basketball game, and they wear the highlighter pink and highlighter yellow clothes over in sit over next to the cheerleaders. I'd be the only thing he could do. I'd like to see him come out in a wife beater and a highlighter wife beater. That'd shut him up. You know, I mean, I could care less.
Pat, but part of me would love to see him troll a little bit. He's not going to, but I almost wish that he would.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm what I'm about to is that I really, really think that Brother Oliver could take that same bunch that we have on defense, and Brother Oliver would have stopped that Vanderbilt offense. I just thoroughly believe that to be a fact. That because we've got talent, it's getting the talent in the right place and in the right formations in order for them to take the right people. I mean, now they got Diddy's best impression of Johnny Manziel. There's no doubt about that. But we've got to talk about this game this week. I got to talk to Corey, and I didn't want to hurt Corey's feelings. The Reverend of Payne, I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So I asked him, I said, tell me, what do we need to do in this game Saturday in order for us to get back on track and back to getting respect that we should? I said, we got to hang 50 on South Carolina. I don't think that many. I think my score 48-10. We get it 48-10. Hey, we'll be right back on track. Would you not agree with that?
Okay. I'll take that. I'll take it right now.
Yeah, I'd be happy to have that. But I'm also about getting a W. I mean, we got to get a W before we can get the next W. It may take a little while to straighten all this mess out. I don't know. Because it appears to be a little more issues than what, but I hope that Coach DeBoer has gotten a handle on things this week. I realize some of these people are prima donnas and all that kind of stuff, but I did find out some really good information. That having two people on the field with the same number, all they had to do was go to the head referee and tell him for this play, I'm going to be number 25 or whatever number. Nobody did that. Huh?
I think you got to switch jerseys. Do you not?
No, you don't. You can have both numbers on the field at the same time as long as you make the referee aware of it.
I don't think that's the case.
Look it up, Ryan. This changed in 2020. This thing changed in 2020. You can have two players on the same defensive unit with the same number, but you got to make the referee aware of it. That's what it said. Now, but anyway, not either here nor there. But that's what I read. Now I could be all wet on that.
I mean, I'm reading straight from the NCAA rule book. 2020, you can. All right.
I have two players on the field with the same number.
Two players may also share the same number, although they may not share the same play on the same down.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'm looking at it wrong place, but I'm looking straight from the NCAA's website.
Okay, so maybe I read that wrong then.
But they are allowed. Only two players on the team, so you can only have two that wear the same numbers. Players are allowed to start wearing zero.
I thought, I read that as being two people on the same, whether it be on defense or whether it be on offense. Because there's no reason we got multiple players with number 1, with number 2, with number whatever. There's another one that's double numbers. But with it, when you can't carry but 65, 70, 33 people, something like that on an away game, there's no reason to have duplicate numbers other than the fact that they're prima donnas. Is that not right?
Well, I mean, Pat, you always talk a lot about recruiting on this program.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of that,
how long do you think the recruits...
I didn't say anybody's going to be happy about it.
Well, I'm just telling you how it happens. You can decide whether it's happy or not.
That's why we're paying. That's why we're paying that man $750,000 a year to make them happy.
Well, and we go to Xavier Brown, which was an early enrollee, right?
Yep.
He probably had the number 2 first. Fair?
Maybe.
Ron Williams signed when, Pat? Late signing period.
But with Ryan Williams' production, of course, without Xavier Brown, we lose it.
So would you have told him, yeah, Ryan, you go to Auburn, man. We don't.
No, we ain't telling Ryan Williams to go to Auburn.
So you tell him what jersey he wants, and you give it to him. And that's just listen, it was very simple, man. They did a punt save. They left their defensive side of the football out there, and they actually only had 2 numbers. Man, it's easier. I know it doesn't happen a lot, but it's easier than maybe what we think.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. I appreciate you, man. Roll Tide. All right, let's go to Bruce Marshall right here on the game, powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. Bruce Marshall, please help us make sense. We lost to Vanderbilt, Bruce Marshall.
Yeah, I know. From a Vanderbilt perspective, I mean,
okay. Well, we can't do that from our perspective, though. I mean, we're hurting, Bruce. We're hurting.
Well, I know, but just think, you'll get the last laugh here probably because
okay.
The last time Vandy beat Bama was in 1984. The coach was George McIntyre, whose son is Mike McIntyre, who's now down at Florida International. Kurt Page was the quarterback. And it was an era when Vandy wasn't too bad. They'd gone to a bowl 2 years before that. But they were very excited in 84. I remember we released Vanderbilt in that game, and they won 30-21. They were 4-0 at that point. The season unraveled for Vandy after that. They lost the next game to Tulane, lost 6 of their last 7, didn't go to a bowl, and they didn't recover. They didn't get back to a bowl in 24 years from that point. So maybe they won. They won the battle, but history says Vanderbilt will lose the war. Now, that doesn't make Bama fans feel any better after last week. But I will remind all of our friends, all my friends in Tuscaloosa, that there were some times the last few years that when Coach Saban's last few years, they had some real close calls on the road, and they did manage to pull those games out. It just didn't work last week, but I don't recall a regular season game with as much emphasis as the previous one against Georgia. I mean, there's a week off before the game. Everything was sort of pointing toward Georgia, and a letdown, although I didn't expect it as much as we saw last week, but it is kind of inevitable. And by the way, Georgia was kind of flat last week too, and didn't put Auburn away until the fourth quarter. So I think that has something to do with it. But it's also the reality of college football 2024, Ryan.
You just said it. Say it again, Bruce. Bruce, you just said it right there. I can't imagine your job as a handicapper, how much more difficult it is now because of the new college football.
It is difficult, and it's the portal, and a team can remake itself so quickly, like Vanderbilt did. And I give Clark Lee credit, though I think he stumbled into some of this stuff. Diego Pavia came kind of late, but he did pull his coordinator, Tim Beck, from New Mexico State earlier in the offseason. And then Jerry Kill, who retired as the head coach of New Mexico State. But, he we talked to Clark Lee in Dallas, and he said he persuaded Kill to come on up to Nashville to help him out. And Kill's a very respected coach, so he's kind of overseeing things. And of course, they had a granddaughter not far from Nashville, so they wanted to come up there. But it's the reality of college football in 2024. Things change. We're going to see upsets like this. But in the big picture, now you got a 12-team playoff, Ryan. In past years, you might have said, "Oh my God, we lose a game like this to Vanderbilt. We ain't going to win. We ain't going to play for the national title." That's not the case this year. You can lose 1, 2. There might be SEC teams with 3 losses still getting into this final 12. So as long as you straighten this thing out against South Carolina Saturday, back on course, and in the long run, we're going to look back and say, that was just a blip on the radar screen against Vandy.
All right, I want to pick your brain about a lot of different college football, but let's go to this evening's game. It's got Coastal Carolina and James Madison, and people say, come on. No. I mean, this is a 4-1 football teams going at it. Coastal Carolina, James Madison. College football on a Thursday that little matters. I like the Friday games, but Thursday, James Madison minus the 8 this evening in Harrisburg, VA.
I sort of like JMU to bounce back here tonight. And, by the way, did we notice that ULM scored that upset over JMU last week?
We did not.
ULM is 4-1 right now.
Uh-oh.
And they're coached by
Brian
Auburn
later on this season. That could be
Look out. War Eagle, look out. Brian Vincent was at UAB, and they pushed him out for Guilford.
They did.
So that he enjoyed beating UAB a few weeks ago. And earlier in September, they whipped UAB. Their win total was 1.5 this year, so ULM was already over that. But so I'm not going to get down too much on the Dukes because their 2 previous games they scored a total of 133 points. So we know that they've got some offense. Bob Chesney is down here from Holy Cross. Barnett, the quarterback, is putting up better numbers even than McLeod did last year. He's already got 12 touchdown passes and only 1 pick. They're gaining over 5 yards per carry. This is going to really stretch Coastal's defense tonight. So I'd probably look at I'd look at JMU tonight. I'd probably lay those points. Though I'm kind of interested in this battle in the CUSA between Middle Tennessee and La Tech tonight. Lesser of 2 evils. I'm going to vote for La Tech as the lesser of 2 evils because I think Middle is miserable. I think they made a big mistake hiring Derek Mason. They had a very competent coach in Rick Stockstill who took them to a lot of bowl games. This team can't run. They really can't throw. And La Tech has been a little bit competent at times this year, though I'm not too thrilled with what Sonny Cumbie's done there. Short price, though, I will lay it with La Tech tonight, and I'll also lay it with JMU.
Right now, we're talking with Bruce Marshall. Bruce, I want to go into a lot of different games because we got some big college football. But let's start here in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. Alabama, South Carolina, 11 o'clock gets things started. It's a big spread when you look at it, 21 points minus for the Alabama Crimson Tide. What do you think?
Yeah, again, we're here, and we've been talking about this most weeks, Ryan, that there are some big prices, and it's, to lay 3 TDs, it's not, you got to really think about that. And it's not just Bama. Georgia's having trouble covering some of these big numbers, and it's not that easy just to go out there and run up a score like that. For all the angst that all of our friends in Tuscaloosa are feeling this week after the loss up in Nashville, up in Music City last Saturday, I guarantee you they're feeling it just as much or more in Columbia because they really thought they could get Ole Miss last week. And instead, it blew up in South Carolina's face. That is a big blow for Shane Beamer, who was kind of on the hot seat this year. And it looked like they were turning some things around the first month of the season. That win over Kentucky was nice. They probably should have beaten LSU. But that was a big letdown last week. They thought, okay, we're going to keep Lane Kiffin's passing game in check. Well, Ole Miss just ran the ball down their throat. But more alarmingly for South Carolina, the offense did nothing last week. Listen, Sellers back in at quarterback. He was hurt in September there. He missed the Akron game. He still only has a couple of starts. And I know he looked, he only threw 14 passes that game they won against Kentucky. He had a good 2.5 quarters against LSU before he was knocked out. He is still relatively green, and it just didn't work. South Carolina couldn't get anything going last week, and that's a big letdown for them. They have got some real offensive questions right now. So I think Bama can probably get there this week. Just the fact you're coming off a loss like that. You're still, Tennessee's coming up though, but right now, because you lost to Vandy, I think that will get Bama more focused on this game to bounce back. And because South Carolina's offense, Ryan, may have some real issues right now, I'm gonna take it to Alabama here, 35-10 on Saturday.
35-10. Texas, Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. The Red River rivalry. Used to be the Red River shootout. Now it's the Red River rivalry. Oklahoma and Texas. Texas minus 14.5.
Well, I'll still call it the shootout. The political correct police can come after me. But,
well, I mean, and they want us to now use Allstate Red River rivalry. If Allstate wants to buy advertising from a local sports talk radio host, let me know.
Yeah, there you go. We'll steer them toward you. The only thing I like about they're still playing this game in the Cotton Bowl, but you were down there in Dallas with me in July, and the Cotton Bowl isn't the same now. They kind of enclosed it, and it's not the same like it used to be. But whatever. I like that they're playing there. My thought, Ryan, I'm not sure what your take on this is, but I think it's more of the national media. They're trying to stoke a quarterback controversy there in Austin. In Arch Manning, because he'd been in there because Ewers had been out. I don't think, according to Coach Sarkisian and people in Austin, there's no real controversy there. This is Ewers' job. He's back in the lineup this week, and this is just some fluff that's been thrown around by the national media, which likes to create these sorts of controversies. This is still Ewers' team. So it's also revenge for them. They lost this game to Oklahoma last year. I really wish they would have played Oklahoma in a rematch last year in the Big 12 title game, but Oklahoma stumbled a couple of times, and it was Oak State instead. More than Ewers here, I'm curious here about Oklahoma. They pulled that game out at Auburn a couple of weeks ago, and they used a Peyton Thorne pick six to help them get over the hump. But this was a pretty bold strike by Brent Venables to pull Jackson Arnold at quarterback back in September and go with Hawkins. And it was that game against Tennessee, and then Hawkins revived the offense, and he is mobile. He can make some things happen, but Jackson Arnold was supposed to be the savior there. And for them and we saw him in the bowl game last year when he was playing behind Dylan Gabriel last year. He was supposed to be the guy. And for them to move away from him that quick, they either love Hawkins a lot or he just got really sour on Arnold. So I would expect him to probably transfer out. That's just the way it goes these days. But if Hawkins can extend plays, which is the reason why Venables made that switch, because he thinks because of his legs, there'll be fewer 3-and-outs or a few too many of those with Arnold, especially in the Tennessee game, that maybe Oklahoma hangs around here. I am not still that convinced that Texas is, they're number one right now just in ranking, but I'm not convinced this is the best team in the country. And over 2 touchdowns against a big rival like this, I wouldn't lay it. So I'm going to take Oklahoma plus. They might not win. Too many points for me to lay. I'll take the Sooners plus.
Bruce Marshall, one of the longest handicappers in Las Vegas, Vegas Insider, CBS Sports HQ. But I want to move to Ohio State, Oregon. Ohio State minus the 3 out in Eugene.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a grip on Oregon here. They haven't. I get the feeling they've been just sort of playing under wraps a little bit, and maybe that's the wrong. Maybe I just have too much faith in them really shifting gears when it comes time. We mentioned Dylan Gabriel a second ago when he was at Oklahoma. Well, now he's at Oregon. He has not put up huge numbers yet. And Oregon has sort of been, we've just seen some bits and pieces of them. The second half of the Oregon State game, a little bit in the UCLA game. But the UCLA game, they didn't end up covering. They just sort of went through the motions then in the second half. I got the feeling there's another gear with them. We're going to find out a lot more about Ohio State here out on the road. And this is Will Howard's real test here. They like some of the new wideout, the Williams, the freshman. I mean, they like these guys, but this is a big test for them. And frankly, I'm not super convinced that Howard is much of an upgrade over McCord from last year. McCord looks awfully good at Syracuse, by the way. And just a reminder, 3 years ago they played this game in Columbus when Cristobal was still at Oregon, and he took the Ducks in there and won in September in 2021. Now, that's 3 years ago, and there's hardly anybody left on either side. But the thought that Ohio State is just going to go out on the road and take care of business, I ain't buying it. I think Oregon, coming into the year, I thought Oregon was probably the best team in the Big Ten, and my gut feel is this is where they take the shackles off and everything. You'll see the full playbook on display. I just sort of think the whole season was leading up to this week, to this point for Oregon. I think the Ducks win it. I'm going to go 30-27 Oregon, so I think they're going to win this one outright.
I want to ask you about Vanderbilt and Kentucky. I know that we typically don't talk about Vanderbilt and Kentucky, but do you give the Commodores any type of a chance? UK minus the 13.5 up in the Bluegrass State.
Well, Ryan, they have been betting this game down. It was over 2 touchdowns early in the week. And I think some of that we're thinking the natural letdown. And I mentioned that Vandy example 40 years ago, the last time they beat Bama, what happened to Vandy in '84. I don't think this team is going to fall off the map, and it's mostly because of Pavia at quarterback. He is such a competitor, and he gives them something they haven't had in recent years. Now, Clark Lee had these quarterbacks like Swan and Seals. Mike Wright was a little bit different 2 years ago, and they won a few games with him. But those quarterbacks who just kind of sit in the pocket, and they're just targets, that ain't going to work at Vanderbilt. Pavia is something different. He makes plays on the move. And Vandy controlled the ball for 42 minutes against Alabama last week, and much of that was Pavia making plays. And I saw him do that in the Virginia Tech game. The game they lost at Georgia State in the last minute, they came from well behind to get ahead in that game, and they certainly could have beaten Missouri. Pavia is the real thing, and I know Kentucky's tough, and they kind of like Vandegrift at quarterback, but I just still don't think Kentucky's all that dynamic offensively. And I would probably take Vanderbilt plus. One other note, totals, we don't talk about those too much, but when there's an angle, we like to bring it up. 5 straight this season since the outset, since the Virginia Tech game. 5 straight have gone over. They did go overtime against Virginia Tech, but that would have gone over anyway. This for Vanderbilt. They're over 5-0 this year. This total's only at 46. I think it's probably too low, just the way Vandy's moving up and down the field a lot easier with Pavia. I would take Vandy. I'd look over in this game as well.
Hey, Bruce, there's so many great college football games. We don't even have time to discuss them all, but let me ask, where can we get more information from Bruce Marshall?
Yeah, we got a bunch of games this week, and we're having a pretty good run, college football and NFL. By the way, I'll give you one. Denver should not be an underdog against the Chargers this week. No way, no how. Denver wins that game outright. So there's a bonus pick for you, NFL on Sunday. But you can get all my picks, and that includes hockey, which is back, and MLB playoffs up at VegasInsider.com. Also at CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com. And my new place is Winners and Winers, WHINERS.com, and PicksandParlays.com.
Bruce Marshall, I appreciate you so much, man. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next Thursday. Thank you again.
Okay, Ryan.
Financing a vehicle. We're going to get right back to phone calls powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. Right after this conversation here, Roy in Kansas will lead us out. Tommy and Romulus, we're going to circle back to you. Bama Nick over at Americus, Georgia. But right now it's Brad Powers out in Las Vegas, a professional handicapper. Brad Powers 7 on the Twitter account, BradPowersSports.com. Brad, welcome back to Tuscaloosa. Hope all is well.
Thanks for having me, as always.
Brad, it's been a tough week here in Tuscaloosa. Anything you could say that can make us feel good, we would greatly appreciate it.
Well, I mean, any fan base in the country would probably trade the last, 15 years with you. So, I mean, they still got that.
We do. But what was your takeaway from Alabama's loss at Vanderbilt?
Well, I certainly didn't expect it. Like, I'm sure nobody else did, although it looks like, from the clips that are coming out of the Vanderbilt camp, they were pretty confident. I mean, I wasn't surprised that it was high scoring. I did at least get that right as far as the handicap. But, boy, what can you say? I mean, this is the worst Alabama defense in 20 years, and I got multiple data points to say that. Last 6 quarters is about as bad as you can play with that type of talent on that side of the ball as there is. Kalen DeBoer, obviously, welcome. Now it's officially you're officially the Alabama head coach. So we'll see how he handles it. He's never had it. As far as the pressure that he's probably feeling this week, I obviously in the 12-team playoff era, I mean, you can have a loss like that and still be A-okay. So, if you'd asked me this 10 years ago, I mean, it would have been total sky is falling. But there's 12 opportunities, and in today's day and age of college football, anybody can beat anybody on any given day, especially if you're not dialed in. And I see it's just not an Alabama problem. It's probably across the country where people aren't dialed in on a week-to-week basis.
So, Brad, let's go back to look at the defensive side of the ball. You said you had some data points. Do you think that those can be fixed, or do you think it is what it is going into the second week of October?
Well, I go back to the spring game, and I was watching with my dad, who's been scouting for like 40 years. So I trust him about as much as anybody. And it was like the first 3-4 possessions of that spring game. And he said, this isn't what I'm accustomed to as far as Alabama defensively. It was glaring to him that they might have issues on that side of the ball. So I go back to that maybe it's just not going to be fixable. Obviously they got a freshman playing in the back end. They're not getting as much push as they wanted to. Probably on that interior defensive line, they don't have the superstar pass edge rusher like they've had in recent memory. Maybe there's a leadership issue. Maybe the X's and O's aren't as good. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to, be positive and say, yeah, it's all fixable, but, you gave up 40 to Vandy. You gave up, almost 40 and a half to Georgia. If South Florida has a quarterback who can be more accurate, that might have been a loss. That's what people don't understand. 42-16 final. Well, it was a 5-point game, and I didn't think South Florida played that well offensively with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I don't know if it is fixable this year.
You think the offense can cover up enough? Because it kind of puts a lot of pressure on that offense. Anytime you see a punter, that's a negative when Alabama's chasing points.
Yeah, they're good enough to beat Georgia. What many still consider maybe to be the best team in the country. So, they're good enough to still win shootouts. It's just, can you do it for 12 games and go 12-0? Obviously, we got that answer. So, yeah, and they're good enough to win any game. Obviously, this is Alabama we're talking about, and there's talent. Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams, as good as it gets. But, I think Joel Klatt was the national guy that said it looks kind of like a Big 12 team. After the last 2 weeks, it did look like a Big 12 team at Alabama, the last 2 games. So, did a Lincoln Riley type ever win a national championship? No, it's playing that way. So you win a lot of games. I just don't know if you can win the national championship.
Brad, going into this game with South Carolina, 21-point difference. Who would you like in this game?
I lean South Carolina, but I prefer the over again. I just think right now Alabama's, historical. There's some what we call in the industry priors, and Alabama's been, for the most part, a lower-scoring, defensive-oriented program for 15, 20 years, and this could be just an over team. So I'm going over 50.5 in this one. I think Alabama will be, they can almost get there themselves offensively. And again, I don't like South Carolina's offense at all, but shoot. This is, again, the worst Alabama defense in 20 years. So over 50.5 for me.
Ole Miss, LSU. Ole Miss minus the 3.5 against LSU down in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, if it was just all things created equal, and it was just, who would you want to bet on a neutral field? Obviously, Ole Miss is the better team, but I would want to lay. I wouldn't be afraid to lay even 6-7 points with Ole Miss on a neutral field against this LSU team. The problem is they're playing a 7th straight week, 3rd straight SEC opponent, back-to-back road games in the SEC. LSU's off a bye. Ole Miss is, one of their top players may not play. He's Trey Harris, wide receiver, leads the nation in receiving. So, boy, the spot screams LSU at plus 3.5. I would lean that way, LSU. What I did play, it's kind of contrarian. I played the under. Everybody thinks Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss, over. He's 5-1 in the under this year by 17 points per game. So under for me. I know everyone's going to point towards last year's game between these two that had over 100 combined points. But, last I checked, Daniel's not running through that door. LSU's a little bit better defensively. And Ole Miss is a lot better defensively.
Ohio State, Oregon. Oregon is the underdog here at home. Ohio State given the 3.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised all the Oregon money. I'm going to be greedy and wait and see if I can get a better number because it looks like it's just one-way action on Oregon, but I like Ohio State quite a bit. I'll lay the 3. If that's where I have to, make the bet at before kickoff, and that's the best number I can find, then I'll lay the 3. But I'll be a little greedy and see if I can get a 2.5. But right now, number one, I will say we don't know a lot about both because neither one's played an overly difficult schedule. In fact, between the two teams, neither one of them's played a game that's been priced less than 17 points coming into the game. So I liked what I saw from the Buckeyes last week. I know it's just Iowa, but they were pretty buttoned up in that second half. I like the defensive front. Obviously, Ohio State's got a great 1-2 punch at wide receiver and running back. They got more Jimmies and Joes, and I actually trust their X's and O's too more than I do Oregon. So I know it's a tough place to play, but Ohio State -3 for me.
Florida, Tennessee. Tennessee coming off the loss at Arkansas in Fayetteville. Back home, Florida goes up there. It used to be just an incredible game when you look at Florida, Tennessee. This one's a 14.5-point difference, according to the experts in the desert. Tennessee minus the 14.5 in Knoxville against Florida.
Yeah, if you're a certain age, this was the game in the SEC for a while there in the 90s on a yearly basis, but obviously Florida's fallen off recently. Tennessee's trying to get it back, but really bad loss last week. Florida's owned this series since Urban Meyer took over Florida back in 2005. I think they're 17-2 in the last 19 matchups. Tennessee hasn't been this big of a favorite in forever in this matchup. I think at least 30 years. I'm going to lay it though. You can find 14 right now. I'll lay the 14 with the Volunteers. I think they bounce back. And I can't get the Miami performance out of my head. A&M went down to the Swamp and really controlled matters in that game. And both of those games that Florida played earlier this year were at home. Now they're on the road. Knoxville at night. Tennessee, they're angry off a loss. And it's another game I don't understand the money on Florida, so I'll lay 14.
USC going to be hosting Penn State. Penn State minus the 4 out in Los Angeles.
Yeah, some money coming in on SC. This is one where I do agree. Although, if you want to bet SC, if you want to bet Penn State, lay the 4 because that's by far the best number in the market right now. If you want to bet USC, you can take 5. So I'd prefer to take the points here. How can you bet SC? They can't match up with the line of scrimmage. I get you. I hear you. I can't really defend that. It's just I don't really trust either coach as far as a big game. Spot to me says SC's season's on the line already with 2 losses. And Penn State's improved offensively, but on a down-to-down consistency basis, I'm still not seeing it. So, and then, in the Big Ten, the new travel across the country has not gone well. The teams traveling across the country. I know I just said I like Ohio State. Ohio State's a different animal, but 1-8, those teams traveling across the country so far this season.
All right, and I was just about to ask you about another Big Ten team. UW coming off the win last week against Michigan, beating a top 10 team in the Wolverines. Now they go to Iowa, 4-2 against 3-2. Iowa minus the 3.
Yeah, statistically, Washington's a better team, but again, spot off the big win against Michigan. Iowa off the blowout loss to the Buckeyes. Kinnick Stadium's a much tougher place to play than anybody gives them credit for. So I bet Iowa this week. You can there's some 2.5s out there, late 2.5. If you want to bet Iowa, no excuse. If you want to bet Washington, take the 3.
Utah, Arizona State, 2 4-1 teams tomorrow evening. That's a 9:30 ESPN game. I love the Friday night action. I mean, I know that we, getting a lot of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night action, but Utah, Arizona State tomorrow evening. Utah minus the 5.5 down in Tempe.
Yeah, will he or will he not? And that being Cam Rising, will he come back and play or won't he? Conflicting reports, like it has been for feels like 2 years. Honestly, 2 full years, even dating back to a couple years ago. Right now, as we stand, as of 4:16 Central Time, looks like Cam Rising's going to play. The line's up to 6. It was as low as 3.5, maybe 3 hours ago. So current information says he'll play. If he does, I like the spot for Utah off a loss, off a bye. Arizona State's a little overrated. Short week for them off a big full 60-minute effort against Kansas. Utah for me.
Oklahoma, Texas, the Red River rivalry out in the Cotton Bowl. Texas with a big number here.
Very big number. They haven't been this big of a favorite in the rivalry since 2005, last time they won the national championship. It's deserved, though. Not that Texas has played anybody yet, but I'm not sure Oklahoma is anybody either. This is a 4-1 Oklahoma team that's been outgained on the season. They have a negative yards per play differential, so a phony 4-1 team. And go through the games, outgained by Houston. The Tulane final was very misleading. The Auburn game they shouldn't have won. Just period. I mean, it was just Auburn made some critical errors like they have all season. So, boy, I like Texas here. I'm laying the 14.
It's a big topic of conversation. Let's go to the Thursday night action. There's 3 games, and I could ask you the generic question of which one grabs you, because you would say all of the above. I've been talking to you for a long time.
Yeah.
Brad, is there one game when you see some value? Coastal Carolina, James Madison, Middle Tennessee and La Tech, or UTEP and Western Kentucky? Anything that just grabs you from an advantage standpoint of the odds?
Not wild about anything tonight.
Okay.
But with that being said, I bet every game tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, Brad, you do like 50, 60 bets a week, man.
Yeah, I bet almost every game. It's more stunning to say I didn't bet the game tonight. But right now, at the current numbers, because that's where it's at, boy, as I'm speaking, James, I'll tell you what, the best line I could see I'm looking at 30 books right now. The best thing that I can see right now is James Madison -7. You can bet that. I like that bet.
Hey, Auburn's minus the 10 against Bye. Do you like Bye or Auburn? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, who's playing quarterback for Auburn? I mean, I don't know. Man, what a bad situation. Can Deuce Knight suit up for him?
Man, I mean, and here's the crazy part. They're just now getting into the meat of the schedule. I mean, the first 5 games were supposed to be
one. They're not going to go to a bowl game. I'm just telling you. So, no bowl game.
And that's the part. 2 years in this current climate of college football?
And no better record than the guy you got rid of.
That's the part that you just scratch your head, and they're in a little bit of a dilemma. They can't do anything about it. I mean, Brad, they can't do anything about it. I mean, you can't go fire him.
I would be, yeah. I got some things that I would like to say off the air, but I'll say this. I'm not shedding tears.
Okay.
I don't think he's that great of a person, so
no.
I no shedding of tears here. So sometimes it's called karma. You get what you deserve.
Amen. Brad Powers making some friends in Tuscaloosa. Brad, man, let's talk about how you can get the information. Brad Powers Sports, Brad Powers 7 on the Twitter account. You're also part of a large contingency of podcasts, man. You're always on a lot of great podcasts. Take this time and promote everything that you're involved in, Brad.
Yeah, first step, I mean, to get all those different podcasts and to see me, if you want to take a look at all that, is just follow me on X, Twitter. Brad Power 7 is the handle. You can head on over to the website, Brad Power Sports. I write a weekly newsletter each and every week, so you can check that out. And then, a bunch of different podcasts. Bet the Board is kind of like a deep dive. We take like the 6 biggest games of the week and we deep dive them. There's other stuff that I just did. It's kind of like Ask Me Anything type of. It's called Hit the Books, and it's just me taking questions, and that's all it is for like a couple hours a week. So about any game, ask me anything kind of thing. So, yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff. But follow me on Twitter, X, Brad Power 7, you get all that.
And set all the alerts, because Brad will jump into some Twitter spaces. I know I've seen him a couple different times, and it's like a community out there. So if you're kind of looking for some advantage and see exactly where these numbers go, so follow him there. We've got his alert set to our phone. When he jumps in one of those Twitter spaces, you'll get the alerts as well. Brad Powers 7 on the Twitter account. Brad, I appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of your day.
This week will be better when it's all said and done for Alabama fans. So the last I checked, the sun did come up.
It did. But then we got Tennessee on our mind. But now we're pulling for Vanderbilt, and we need Vanderbilt to go beat Kentucky. Don't know if that'll happen, but
I will say no excuse for luck. It ain't the same Vandy, because they beat Virginia Tech. Probably should have beaten Missouri. Still no excuse for Alabama, but that wasn't. That's the best Vanderbilt team in the last 10 years.
And okay, Brad, you squeeze one more question out of me. You squeeze one more question out of me. When you look at the new world of college football, how much does that make your job harder?
To the point where I used to do a bunch of other sports, I don't do any other sports. I do the NFL, obviously, because there's carryover, but I used to do college basketball. I used to do the NBA. I used to bet a little bit like NASCAR and Major League Baseball. I don't do any of that. It's just college football and a little bit of the NFL. That's it. That's what it's cost.
But, I mean, your job's harder, right? I mean,
absolutely. You got to price uncertainty. I mean, there's so much more uncertainty. So you can't trust teams on a week-to-week basis like you used to. You used to just ride a team. Maybe not every single week of the year, but, in the course of a season, okay, I'm going to play on this team 4 or 5 times, like big, and be comfortable that I'm going to win a majority of them. It requires an attention to detail, and I know this is coaches speak, but it just does. I mean, they're not saying it to say it. It just, you got to be locked in. If you're not, then you're going to get beat up pretty bad.
Brad, I appreciate you, man. Thank you again for being a part of our show. Have a great rest. 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. Nukes Eatery, 205 University Boulevard. Close enough that you can smell the championships. The Nukes Q sandwich, #1 sandwich across the franchise, the club. You've got the French dip, the Nukes Q salads, California-style pizzas, salads. Our good folks right there, Nukes Eatery. Let's continue. Let's go to Kansas. Roy, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Roll Tide from Kansas.
It's been a little bit. How are you, Roy?
Yeah, pretty good. Been a little sick. And actually in a nursing home now, but doing well.
Okay.
It's been about 10 months. 10 months since I found your station. I really appreciate it because I can keep in touch. These people up here don't know nothing about sports. I guess if it's not Kansas City football, they don't know nothing about college sports.
Do they not talk college football at all? I mean, no.
Oh, no. I'm just, you'll see people with their shirts on, but, they more respond to me because I got Alabama on up here, What's he doing up here? But anyway, when Bear was here, Bear was who he was. When Saban was here, Saban was who he was. Let's just let Mr. DeBoer be Mr. DeBoer.
Absolutely. I opened the show going on a rant about this, and it's just I never seen us just pick apart things.
Well, it's not the true fans. That's the problem is we have a mixture of fans. We have Johnny-come-latelys who really want to be a fan, but then we got Johnny-come-latelys that's just riding the high tide. And then we've got Alabama fans. So the Alabama fans need to circle around their team and give them a few Roll Tides and a lot of encouragement, and they'll get it turned around. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they will. Listen, is it a defense that's going to be the 2011, 2016? No, but I don't even know if that's possible. I don't know if it's obtainable when you look at this, but. Can they be a little bit better on the defensive side of the football? We'll see. South Carolina's not going to challenge you as far as offensively, or we hope. Tennessee, that might be a little different story.
He's a developer. That's one thing he's a developer. Everywhere he went, developing. So they may be substandard to what we're used to, obviously. But I think by 12 games, we'll see a vast improvement. But I do really appreciate your program. I'll try not to make it so long between the next call.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you want to see from this Alabama team against South Carolina, in your opinion?
Well, I would like to see less receivers running free on the defense. Okay. I'd like to see that. And then I'd like them to find somebody on the bench that's got a little fire in their gut to start getting them to rush off the edge. Somebody that wants it bad.
Okay.
So if we could get that, I think that'd be confusing enough for most of the people we're playing, and then we'd be able to score enough with the offense that we have.
It should be on the offensive side of the football. I mean, it puts a lot of pressure on your offense. When you
I don't like it.
No, I don't either. Yeah, but
unless they turn around a lot quicker, and it's possible, especially because there's so many young people, in a couple of games it may click. We've seen that in the past. Different people, first games, couple of games, and then all of a sudden it clicks. The game slows down. It's not so fast. They're able to react and they're able to act instead of react.
It's a good point. And there's so much youth over there, too. I still think you're probably limited with what you can do defensively because many of these guys were still in high school this time last year.
Oh, yeah.
And the other
That's
part,
what I'm saying.
Roy, it just kind of hit me as you and I are sitting here talking it out, and you think about depth of the concerns of depth. Think about how it impacts your scout team. Because if you've got depth on your first 22 or your second 22, then think about how it impacts the scout team to get you ready to give you a positive look. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't have the depth on your starting and you're having to start players earlier, what does your scout team look like? Because many of these guys would be on the scout team, making your defense prepare for an upcoming opponent.
No, they can't push you enough. You're right. They may be hungry, but they just don't have the talent, and that's what we do is we develop raw talent.
Just a little something to think about.
Yeah, I appreciate you. You take care and have a good day now.
Hey,
Roll Tide.
Yeah, get to feeling better, man. Roy, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Great stuff there. Roll Tide. Let's go to Tommy in Romulus. Tommy, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ron. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm good. Hope you are as well.
I am. Well, I'm glad to hear from Roy and the other one because I was going to give another tirade. I'm like, these are trolls that nitpicking on our coach because their programs are not doing nothing. Like the crap I heard yesterday, and it was crap.
We're from
You're
here?
not going to win another national championship 5 years. Hey, Gator Man, worry about your own freaking program, okay?
I mean, how do these people take a victory lap when you have a program like the Florida Gators?
Well,
if you're the Auburn Tigers, which you heard Brad Powers just say, what a joke of a program that is, how do they take the victory lap?
I was going to get on my little soap opera. I was going to tell anybody under the age of 12 leave the room because I was going to let the rest of the Alabama nation who've been nitpicking and some of the state media let the man, like my last caller from Kansas said, let our coach be his man. What the hell are we trying to do? Run the coach off after 5 games?
Yeah, probably.
Are we going to be like Auburn?
Could be.
We going to be like Auburn Alabama fans? No, I'm calling Alabama fans out.
Get
now.
them.
You all right? Are you going to be like Auburn? You're going to be like Florida, moan and groan and things. You're going to be like Texas A&M, spend all that money on Tim Bull Fisher. What did you get? One win against Alabama. Wow, I hope $100 million was worth one freaking little measly win. All right? Vanderbilt didn't do nothing. I'm proud of Vanderbilt. Shake your hands and let's move on and show our class. Alabama fan, show your class. It's tougher to show your class when you lose. It's easy to be all great and lovey-dovey when you win. But show your class. We are Alabama. We're not Auburn. We're not Florida. We're not Tennessee. And thank God we're not Texas. I know I'll get a comment from that one. We are Alabama. Let them rip on us. Because you know what? When they ripping on us, they are jealous of us. The big J, they are jealous. In other words, it's envy. They are envy of our program. Well, just because we ain't won a freaking national championship in volleyball and all this other stuff. You know what? If they count the adult sports, Alabama would have nearly 16 national championships in all athletic activity. But they don't talk that. But nobody else points that out. So you know what? When you come on this show, do your freaking homework, people. Don't throw it out because that's what I hear.
Tommy, did you listen to the coach's show last night?
No, I had company. I wish I did, but no.
Okay.
No.
No, I mean, I'm not making you. Just.
What did he say? Did I say?
No, I mean, it was just a bunch of, fashion police that were talking.
Well, I mean, I really got mad after the coach. It's like somebody was talking about his physique, the coach body, how he filled out a warm-up suit and thing. I'm like, that sounds perverted to me. You there to watch a freaking football game.
And I'm still waiting for the ladies to call in. Maybe I got on them a little bit too rough because I said Ladies' Day today. Thursday, Ladies' Day. They do oil changes at these 10-minute oil change. They give ladies discount. We're asking ladies to go to the front. Okay, but we want to know. Okay, do you agree with his apparel? Do you disagree? I said it didn't matter to me, but maybe it's important to the ladies. The ladies always, and maybe, he could be, his wife may be like my wife, okay? My wife, I'm fixing to tell on myself, okay, Tommy?
Yeah, all right.
All right. If I wear a but a polo shirt, button down or the polo, my wife will not allow me not to wear an undershirt. If she will not let me wear it. She said, you cannot go out of the house like that. I'm not going with you. So I have to wear an undershirt. It's pretty hot last week. Maybe his wife has one of those type of policies. He didn't want to wear 2 shirts. A little hot.
Maybe so. And maybe his wife telling him, don't dress too classy. Because you're married to me, bucko, and I'm still boss of the house. So, that's another point of view. He might be the head coach of the Alabama football team, but I'm pretty sure she's the boss at the house. I'm pretty sure he has to take out the trash like Nick Saban.
Oh, you think DeBoer takes out the trash? I don't know. I mean, I could ask him. You want me to ask him if he takes out the trash?
No, because I don't want to be mad at me, but what man that don't take out the trash, if you don't take it out, even with my mother when I didn't take it out, I heard about it for 2 days, okay? So you're not getting off scot-free.
Yeah, I mean, Saban used to have to take out the trash. I mean, that's what he told us. I mean, I felt good because I had something in common with Coach Saban.
But you don't like his black pullover. He had a hoodie. And I'm like, oh, yeah, and he making $800,000 a month. I don't care. Quit nitpicking. You're trying to run him off? That's what it sounded like to me. And we're not Auburn. We're not freaking Tennessee. We don't go around getting coaches from other staff and running the career like Tennessee have, Jeremy Pruitt and others. I can go on my little rant, but I won't. But
Tommy's fired up. Tommy, I like Tommy Thunder like this. This is my favorite Tommy.
Well, I was nice last week. Look what it got us. A loss and a bunch of whiny-ass Alabama fans moaning about everything.
Tommy, what do you think about Alabama and Tennessee?
I don't give a damn about Tennessee right now. You know what I want Saturday? I want the fans.
I just wanted you to say that. I
know you want me to cuss. Yeah. When I go to hell, I said, Ron Fowler coming with me, God. All right? I'm not going alone. Okay, for my potty mouth. I'm taking you with me, pal. I'm a coward. All right.
Roll Tide. No, that's good. what do you want to see against South Carolina?
I want the fans, the ones, all of them. Y'all have moaned all week. I want you to bring the intensity.
Oh, yeah. And don't use I can't get tickets as an excuse because you can get tickets.
Yeah, and I don't care. Oh, well, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't care. Bring it. Bring it. We need it at 11 o'clock.
This is...
Okay, 48 hours from now, we're going to be happy and we're going to be moaning again. Bring the intensity from fourth quarter so the team knows the fan base behind them. I want the team to bring the intensity and get their fundamentals down. I want better tackling. I want better execution. Know your position. Know your job. Besides that, I got a lot more terrible things to say, but I'm cutting it off there because there's little ones listening. So I have to.
Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. Let's go right back to the phones, and we'll go to Chris in Florence. Chris, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
I'm fine, Ryan. How about you? It sounds like you are having a very, very, very weird week because Bama Nick just chewed everybody out. I'm just can't even fit into my pants now.
Yeah, well, it's been a rough week. That's what happens when you lose to Vanderbilt, man. We start blaming each other. That's where we're at.
I guess it's time to go to Southern Ale House and get another sandwich like you posted that day. You made me so hungry.
7 stages of grief: shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, reconstruction, and acceptance. I don't know where Bama Nick is, but
I think it's somewhere in the anger realm.
It's Jumbo's fault that we didn't play good, but.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell Bama Nick. I love you, Bama Nick. I love you, Bama Nick, and I respect you. I mean, I'll never say a cross word to Bama Nick. I tell you, I love Bama Nick.
He's the number one caller to this program, and
oh yeah,
yeah, and so we're gonna have to.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I'm in the drive-through line, and I'm just sitting there, and I cannot help but go, my butt's hurting.
Oh yeah, mine was too. Yeah.
And if Jackson could have the bulldog or the dog growling, that would be basically Bama Nick right now on everybody right now, trying to steal his bone. You know, I mean, he's very mad.
Yeah, he's mad. He's mad. He's irritated.
I would be irritated too after you lost to Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
after we lost to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, we all are. We all are. But we gotta.
Yeah,
got to find a way to get better, and hopefully this weekend starts. But Chris, I haven't been able to find anybody. I'm looking for the ladies to call in. We always say ladies go to the front on Thursdays, go to the front of the aisle, front of the line. We're asking today. Now the big problem is you don't have any lines available, so it's not like they can just jump right in. You might be on some other shows, but on this one it's usually pretty packed.
Right. Yeah, that's why I haven't been able to call in for the last month and a half.
It's for the question that we've got is, were the ladies offended by the T-shirt? Because I opened up the show admitting that this was going to be a bad show because that's all I've got on today is a T-shirt. Forgot my tuxedo and my sport jacket, but I'll make sure I wear it tomorrow for a free-for-all SEC Parlay Pick Day presented by Brian Harden Construction.
Can we not find something else to gripe?
Amen. Amen.
Can we find... The man wants to wear what he wants to wear. Let him wear what he wants to wear. If he wants to wear shorts and flip-flops out there, let him wear them.
I said the same thing. Amen.
Hush.
Hush.
I mean,
That's right.
I'm going to say this. We have, and I know we're so used to Nick Saban, you know, where he wore. Coach Saban used to wear the polo, the nice khakis, and everything like that. Coach DeBoer does his own thing. Let him do his own thing. What we need to be worried about, not worried about what the man's wearing, worry about how he's going to get the defense fixed, and how he's going to get that fixed, and worry about why this and that's going. Quit worrying about if he's got a Nike T-shirt on. Get off my lawn. Jeez.
What do you want to see from Alabama against South Carolina?
I want to see. I'm going to go. I mean, Bama Nick said it, but I just want to see us get back to. I'm going to quote Coach Saban: making people's ass quit.
Amen. I like it. Come on, defense. Come on, we believe in you. Let's get better. Let's get better.
Where's the defensive ranking right now? Do we even want to go there?
Oh Lord, Chris, why did you make me go look it up?
I just wanted to see. Because.
Okay. All right. Just for you. Here we go.
I just wanted to see her because I know we're not.
We're 48th. Oh Lord, we're 48th in the country in total defense, scoring defense. We're 41st in the country, rushing defense. We're 54th in the country. We're below Auburn in passing defense. We're 61st. 61st.
Did you say Auburn's better than us at pass defense?
They are.
Somebody pinched me. I think a pig fly.
At total defense, we're one spot above Auburn if you want some.
Oh, well, that's good news. And I heard somebody talk about this.
Scoring defense, we're one spot above them. Pass defense, we're behind them. And rushing defense, we're behind them in the SEC.
Well, we've got to figure this thing out. I mean, this defense has got to. I mean, the Swarm defense.
They ran through our crap like a crap through a tin horn. They ran through our butt.
They did. They did. And I'm watching and I'm listening to the game, and then I got back home and watched the game, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, there was no fight. There was no fire till Malachi went 2-year-old on us, and that was the only fire I saw. I'm sorry. I love Malachi's passion and everything like that. And all of this, I don't know if you saw it this week, but everybody asking for him to be suspended. You handle it internally. Malachi Moore has put so much time and effort into this program. He stayed when he could have took money like a certain safety that's playing Saturday night and probably going to get his butt beat Saturday night too. He took money to go to Ohio State. Yeah, I'm talking about Caleb Downs. Malachi stayed. Could have left.
He could
Went to the NFL.
And plus, that son of a gun said no when Alabama needed him the most. Get him the hell out of here. They're digging up audio from Glenn Schumann that he's an alum here, but Nick Saban needed him, and he said no. Get him the blank out of here. But people started bringing up his name as an option. I'm going, come on, get him out of here.
Okay, first things first. You just said it as well. How many freshmen are we starting in the back nine, in the back five?
Well, it depends on the formation, but multiple. I mean, you've got
right.
I know Jalen Mbakwe did
Brown.
not. Well, that's one. But just
you got Jalen.
Well, and Jalen Mbakwe, but also you play Red Morgan in some formations, but you also got Damani Jackson is a new player in this system. Keon Sabb's a new player. I mean, I guess they're all new players. I mean, Malachi Moore is new to the 4-2-5 defense and responsibility.
Right, so. And the 4-2-5 is and another thing too. I know that we saw Jaheim Otis. He announced he was leaving. I don't know what his problem was.
Well, I was waiting for him to announce that he was here.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Did he ever announce that he was here?
Yeah, I don't think he ever did.
Yeah, I never saw him line up in the stat book, so.
No, he never did. So, good riddance, bye. Get on out of town. If you don't want to finish the season with your team, bye. Get on out of here. And when this team runs the table and takes what happened to them last Saturday and wins the national title, and you're going to be like, well, where's my ring? I was part of that team. No, you wasn't. You redshirted and took your ball and went home.
That's right. All right, Chris. Appreciate you, man. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, Ryan. Good to talk to you again. And good show as always, and I cannot wait to hear what Jumbo has to say.
All right. Jumbo's coming up here in a couple of minutes, but I'm trying to be fair to everybody else, too, because they've been waiting the same length. Josh, Georgia. Josh, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Man, Chris was on fire, was he not?
He was on fire.
But anyways, I should not have taken to social media just about 5 minutes ago while I'm sitting here waiting on hold, because I am just as aggravated as you are about people picking on our coach for wearing what he wants to wear. So, and that's all I'm going to say. I told the guys this morning from tailgate in a group text, I said, hey, I don't care what variant of the school logo it has, elephant, big, small, baby elephant, whatever. As long as it's school colors and it says Alabama, that's fine. So, case closed. Like Chris said, get off my lawn. And then now, somebody else that was kind of aggravated was the guy before that. Barner Nick, what's wrong? Who watered down your beer? Huh? What got you all panties in a wad twisted up? Man, you need to take your ball, go to the house, and go home. We don't want that here. We don't need that here. We didn't ask for that here. You call to talk football, not how long you've been on hold, not how you're always the number one caller. We don't want to hear that. We hear it every single day. So go sit down, shut up, crack you a cold one, get over it. And Jumbo.
Todd?
Jumbo's my friend. I will stand up for Jumbo. And, I mean, it's in his name. That's his nickname. I wouldn't want to call him out because he'll sit on you. I'm serious. I don't think I'd want to take Jumbo off. Jumbo would sit on you and not think twice about it. Because I know Jumbo was a Navy man. Jumbo put his time in the service, and he spent time on the flight deck. So I really wouldn't want to take Jumbo off. So, but anyways, other than that, how is your Thursday going, Ryan?
Oh, it's incredible. Man, I'm having a great day. Great day.
All right. I am working on, I got home a little bit ago, and got a haircut after work, got home, got showered, and I am working on, I told Jackson I'm packing a bag, getting ready to be Tuscaloosa bound after a half day of work tomorrow. I cannot wait. It's been a long week. I'm looking forward to making that 3.5-hour drive, kicking back and relaxing in a chair at tailgate, eating some wings, drinking some tea or some Mountain Dew, and taking in the sight, sounds, and air of what Mitchell calls so-called God's country, because it is Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It makes this outside boy right here feel welcome every single time, and it don't even have to be football season, my brother. I can come down in July, and Tuscaloosa to me it's a breath of fresh air, and I love it every single time I get to experience it. So with that being said, y'all have a good evening. Jumbo's up next. I will see whoever I can see tomorrow and this weekend, and let's go whoop some Gamecocks Saturday in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Roll Tide.
Right back to you. Thank you, Josh. We appreciate that. Here we go, Lee. Jumbo, you're in the game.
All right. First of all, let's get something straight.
Okay.
A Top Gun commanding officer's hat signifies that the commanding officer is the head of the group. It's not me. I gave Coach Saban a Top Gun hat, and I didn't even know the man coached for Navy. Well, he loved it. He was the commanding officer of that football team out there. He was the Top Gun. Now, I've done the same thing for Coach DeBoer because I kind of fell in love with him, and I love the way he does things. And Coach Oates, I gave him one because of what he's done. It's not me. I was a first-class petty officer, and I was a dang good one. But that signifies that you were at the top of your class, and I gave it to them. So let's get one thing straight. When you give out a hat like that to somebody, you don't have to be an officer to do it. I could go give one to my dad right now saying that he's the top gun of all fathers. That thing signifies excellence, and it signifies authority and somebody who's in charge. And that's why I give them that hat. I wasn't trying for no brownie points or nothing like that. Now, second of all, I've been on this show a lot longer than 4 years. But for the last 4 years, and every caller that comes on here will say that I have said take it 1 week at a time. I said that. I started it. You came in behind me and tried to take that from me, Nick. That's what pissed me off. Now, you can come on here, you can cuss and yell and do whatever you want to, but in my book, you're disrespecting Ryan in his show by coming on there cussing like you are. But if you want to keep drinking your beer and acting like some stupid redneck hillbilly from Georgia, then you go ahead. I don't care. I got my life where it needs to be, and I'm walking that right road. I don't need beer to get me high or to get me pumped up to say anything. Now, third, son, if you want a shot at the title, come get it. I will take you on anywhere, anytime, in a ring. I don't need no weapons. I don't need anything but what I've got right here on my wrist, and that's my 2 hands. So you want a shot at the title, come take the belt, because I guarantee you I'm going to send you back to Georgia like we sent the Bulldogs back to Athens with a little dub on their tail. So that's done. That's over with. You want to come at me again, but next time do it where we can talk to each other on the phone. You didn't want to talk to me because you're a coward and you didn't want to hear what I had to say. So I said it. There it is. Anytime you want to take the title, come get it. Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I started the show talking about DeBoer, but we've ended talking about Bama Nick. So
yeah. Well, he's not the number one caller. In his mind, he is, and that's fine. That's fine. Let him do that. There's some fantastic callers on the show. I love everybody. They got their opinions. They say what they want to say.
Where would you rank Bama Nick? I mean, would he be in the top 10?
Probably toward the lower 10, but I don't like the way. And you know what? I can't judge him by this because I used to do this all the time too. I used to cuss all the time, but I don't know more. I don't think you need to cuss to get your point across, or whatever. Sometimes you got to yell and all that, but I'd probably put him at 8 or 9.
Okay.
So, and I'm not even in the top 5. I'm not coming on here and trying to be one of your top callers, Ryan. We talk football, we talk military, we talk food. We talk so much stuff, and this show is, to me, if I gave you a Top Gun hat tomorrow, I'm saying you're the Top Gun of all radio talk hosts. And if I had one to give you, I would give you. And that's what that would signify. So I just want to straighten that up. But listen, I don't care if Coach DeBoer is on the sideline in a bikini with a butt flat. Ooh. As long as he's coaching his butt off and we're winning ball games, who cares what he wears? I mean, if the guy wants to come out dressed as Spider-Man, come on dressed out as Spider-Man. As long as he's coaching and we're winning ball games.
I said the same thing. I mean, I think we're focused on the wrong issues. Big time.
And we can't, I've listened to you guys talk this week, and Monday I may have been a little bit too rough, but this loss really took me. So, but we've rebounded. We got Carolina Saturday. Everything's going to jump back on track so we can get back on the hype train and start rolling out on tracks again. This thing is fine. We got the best coaching staff in the country. We got the best players. We know they're passionate. We know they're hungry. We just got to go out there and take care of business 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time. Don't worry about what happens in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 7, 8, 9 weeks. Worry about what's in front of you. Cross the bridge that you got to cross to get to the next bridge for the next week. I think we're going to be fine. South Carolina, kind of feel bad for them because they're going to come in here and they're going to catch the blunt end of something I don't think they want to catch in. But, it is what it is. Saturday morning is going to be, I'm excited. I can't wait for the ball game. I'll be at work, but I get to watch it at work. But I think we're going to be just fine. And then, of course, tomorrow we got everybody rolling in over Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, yeah, rub it in. Go ahead.
No. You said something about talking to them about paying you. So do you want me to say something about them maybe being a sponsor?
No. I got sponsors.
Well, I know you guys handle that stuff, but I mean, if they got you as a sponsor, man, it'd be good. So, or you got them as a sponsor, that'd be great. But I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But
you're cool. Fine. You're fine. Roll Tide.
Hey, man. You guys take care. Have a good night. God bless you. Roll Tide. Let's get ready for a Thompson Warrior beating tomorrow night of the Hillcrest Patriots, and get ready for a Crimson Tide beating Saturday morning of the Gamecocks. Roll Tide.
Thank you, Jumbo. Thank you. Let's go to Leon. Leon, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, Ryan. What's happening, my man?
Just trying to manage the circus.
Okay, I like part of the last part of the dude's call just now. That's what. See, I'm right there. Listen, man, as an Alabama fan, we got a game Saturday morning. Not no Saturday evening, Saturday night, but Saturday morning.
Yes, sir.
We just lost a game to a team that we rarely lose to. Matter of fact, lost to them twice in the whole history.
It's been 40 years.
Yeah, thank you. So my mind's all on that. Hey, man, I'm an Alabama fan. This ain't about Leon. This ain't about whether I'm a good caller or a bad caller. This is all about. I call Ryan Fowler his show from time to time. We don't call that regular, but I call it to talk about Alabama sports. Mostly football, I call sometimes during basketball season. But my thing is that, man, hey, I'm looking at, man, my mind is right here. Saturday morning. Not no Saturday evening, Saturday noon, Saturday morning. We got a game Saturday morning against South Carolina. We just coming off a loss to Vanderbilt. And that is more important to me as an Alabama football fan than anything else about my own personal ego, all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
And this is why I called your show.
So what do you want to see? What do you want to see from this Alabama football team against South Carolina that'll make you feel that we're back on track?
Well, I already think that we'll be 35-13. Our life would be more. Our life was to do more. But Ryan, I'm going to tell you, we have to get better on defense. We're going to have to get better on defense. we're not supposed to be allowing. I don't care if people like to talk about, well, okay, it's an unorthodox type offense. You know, they talk about the flex, the wishbone, all that. Okay. Still, we've got to get better on defense. We cannot give up 40 points to anyone anymore. You understand? We can't do that. We've got to hold everybody because of who we are. And because of how we're not really kind of amateur right now. We need very much to hold anybody under 21 points. 21 points maximum, man. We can't be giving no 30 and 40 points to nobody, man, talking about winning no ball game. That's not going to happen. Now, we got our chances in front of us, but we're going to have to make sure that we do what we got to do to not that anybody's going on 40 points and all that. We can't beat nobody that's going on 40 points. We can't do that. We showed you that Saturday.
All right, Leon, I got a very important question because we've been doing the survey and we're trying to find out. I like what DeBoer is wearing. Do you?
Let me tell you something, man. I'm glad you said that. I won't even bring it up. Attire is a personal thing that people shouldn't even get into.
Amen. I agree.
You know, look.
We're just taking up for him because there's so many idiots that are not.
Well, okay, those people who got time for all that, something is wrong with them. Man, what you put on is what you have, is what you're able to afford, or what you afforded when you went to school.
Well, I don't know if the afford is the issue. You know, I mean, he's making $890,000 a month.
Ryan, that ain't got nothing to do with it because you don't know what to do with his money. But my thing,
you think he's that cheap? No, come on. I mean, come on.
No. You come on.
I don't have a problem with what he's wearing. I don't care if he comes out in a Scooby-Doo Halloween costume. Doesn't bother me.
Ryan, we all have priorities. You might like to spend a lot of your money on your clothes.
No, I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite.
I'm just saying. I'm just for an example. We can't say what a person put their money into, but that's why I say, hey man, what you put on your attire, that's personal. Think about that now. That's personal. Okay, if you're not naked, being exposed in a way that, where people, come on, that's personal. When we start talking about what somebody got on, man, you're going too hard then. And I say you, but I'm not talking about Ryan Fowler because I've heard.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
When you start talking about what somebody got, come on, man, you got to cut that foolish. Listen, bro, I'm 70 years old, Ryan. That is foolishness.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, you're gonna have to control your nephew. Gator Man went crazy on us yesterday.
Gator Man is a chump, an old dude. That's another problem. Old people catch hell because there's so many old people who don't want to act their age. Gator Man is one of them. Gator Man is around my age and he acts much younger. Come on, man, you got to act. You got to act your age so that the people that's under you can get their respect. People don't want to do that nowadays. You got so many 60, 70-year-olds that trying to act like they 30 and 45. You seen it. Not just black, white too. And it's a shame. You have to, listen, man, if you act your age, people are going to respect you, and they're going to respect those people that are around the same age you are.
That's right. Yeah, good stuff, Leon. I got to get to this break, man, but I always enjoy hearing your phone calls, man. Thank you again for being a part of my...
Give some out, big guy. And that's it.
Roll Tide. Thanks, Jared.
Hey, one thing I want to see is I want to see hats on hats. I want to see bloody noses. I want to see thumbs in throats and making people quit.
I would take that right now.
As Nick Saban used to say, get a hat on a hat, bloody his nose, and get your dang thumb in his throat and make him quit.
I'd take that right now.
Amen, brother. Let's roll. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Jared, Houston, Texas. Rocket Man up in Huntsville. Rocket Man, good afternoon. You're in the game. Hope all is well, man.
Hey. Great. You?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to make it.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
I've tried to get in the last couple of days for my parlay picks, but I'm thinking 35-10, 286 Mill Road. You can print that out, maybe.
I can. I'm sorry. And the only reason I do is we have a lot of people that record the score predictions on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I have to be fair to them as well. So, but I do appreciate it. I mean, you can take a victory lap maybe next week if you.
I tried nearly an hour and a half today, but I appreciate it. It's a good show.
Yeah, thank you.
The attire, whatever, just as long as there's, like you earlier talked today in the opening of your show, no Kamala Harris shirt.
Yeah, no Kamala Harris shirts. That's the only thing I'd have a problem with. Yeah, if you wear a Kamala shirt, you have to get you some psychiatric help.
A word salad, apologies.
But she said she wouldn't have changed anything. That makes me hurt, man. She said she wouldn't have changed anything for the last 3.5 years. That's what she said.
Yeah, that's the throw up stuff there. But,
it'd be like the Titanic backing up and hitting the iceberg again, just to see if it made sure. Yeah,
there was a guy at work this past week, a Notre Dame fan. He had a good one, but it stunned me. He'd come into our break room. And you hear that dog?
Yeah. He's talking about Kamala, that dog is.
Yeah. Well, remember that video?
You know what that dog just said?
Yeah, can I pet that dog?
No. He said, I'm smarter than Kamala.
Yeah,
and he
more
is.
likely. He's a hyena. Anyway, I'm to quit.
You got me
Notre Dame
all
guy,
tickled.
our break room, he said, hey, what's the greatest 1970s group that ever came out? You know, some of the guys said, well, Led Zeppelin. Another guy, the Eagles. I thought, okay, hey, we're going somewhere with this. He said, no, the Commodores. Yeah, that smacked me.
Roll Tide, Rocket Man. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Thank you.
Listen,
Yeah.
The 4-2-5 pack, that maybe for pass, not run option.
Yeah,
man, we got to get away from that.
Yeah, we got to fix it a little bit. It'd be a little less, and we'll see. I don't want to overreact. I want to see what it's made of on Saturday morning, and we'll see. But hey, Rocket Man, appreciate you, man.
One last thing. I like Bama Nick. I've enjoyed his past calls. Today was a little bit like Jim with Tuscaloosa. I hope he takes that in.
Okay. Rocket Man, be careful because Jim's right behind you. So I don't know if you. Yeah. Thanks, Rocket Man. Thank you. Thanks, Rocket Man. Let's go to Jim. Jim, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Not the same Jim.
Oh, okay, good. I was praying. I saw Jim from Tuscaloosa. I was like, oh, no, this ain't going to be good.
Yeah, I honestly think that anybody gets upset over a loss, start picking about
sure.
It's somebody who's gambling, and that's why sports
gambling. Amen, Jim. Hey, say it again, Jim.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah, because you can't enjoy yourself and watch a game when you got money on it,
That's right.
Because every play counts, if you fumble, it's going to cost you the spread or something. I mean, you're just going to be sore. Even if the team wins, you're going to be sore if you don't. So you shouldn't gamble, How many retired gamblers do you know?
How many retired gamblers do I know?
You're retired gambling. I mean, put your money in a 401k, get your employer to match whatever part they're going to match.
Well, I mean, in this current economy, that's probably gambling too, though, Jim.
Yeah, but it's more educated, I mean.
Well, yeah, probably, maybe.
I'm not an expert, but, if you know nothing about stock market, it's like, what's his name? The guy's the billionaire old guy.
Oh, Warren Buffett?
Yeah, he said long ago, if you know nothing about it, put your money in something that mirrors the S&P 500.
That's right.
That's the companies like Walmart, Apple, Johnson & Johnson, 3M. I mean, you don't have to be an expert. All you got to do is know what companies are in there. And most likely in 30 years, you're going to be way better off than you was today,
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, don't gamble, and you enjoy the game more, and you won't get so upset when the point spread ain't met or your team loses.
All right. Roll Tide, Jim. Thank you.
Day.
Hey, Jim, where are you calling us from?
Dothan.
Dothan. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you, man.
All right, bye.
Jim calling us from Dothan. Thank you, Jim. Let's go to Jacob up in Indiana. Jacob, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan, how you been?
Man, oh, man, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Taking off pretty hard, so.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm pretty limited with time, but it's good to see your name up on the screen.
Oh, thanks. But all I've been thinking is one decision made the game. You know what decision that was?
One decision?
One decision caused them to lose.
Okay.
Which decision was that?
Well, there's quite a few
Who
of
made
them.
that decision?
We did.
No, Milrow. That one throw.
Oh, that pick six?
Hit the rookie on the curl route whenever he was 3 feet off the ground.
Tried to force it in.
He squatted down with someone like halfway on his back. He threw that, and I was like, what in the world?
And you're a quarterback, so you know that, Jacob.
Yeah, I've had an interception or two this year.
Oh, you have? Okay. Okay, we won't tell nobody. All right.
I know what it feels like, but it ain't fun, but it's annoying.
All right, Jacob. Hey, call back when we got more time, because I'm literally out of time right at the end of the show, man. I appreciate you as always, Jacob.
Yeah, I'm going to put in my score prediction real quick. I think, wait, who are we playing? I'm sorry. Arkansas?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. I'm going to go Alabama 21, South Carolina 17.
Oh, Lord, Jacob, you are worried. Okay, Jacob. All right. Roll Tide, man.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Let's go to Ellis, Manchester, Tennessee. Ellis, got about 40 seconds. Let it rip.
Is this a Maury Public show?
Yeah, it can be. You got a complaint? Help! Help!
I just had to say that, Ryan.
Whose side are you on?
I ain't on neither side. I ain't getting involved in
it. Okay.
I am getting involved about all this fashion police crap.
Are you mad?
Who cares what he wears, Ryan?
I don't. Do you?
No, I don't care what he wears. He can walk out there butt naked for all I care, as long as he's winning.
All right. Me too. I don't want to. Thank you, Ellis. Big thanks to Simon, Jaisha over there. Jackson, thank you. I want to thank our law enforcement officers, EMTs, firefighters, first responders, highway patrol. We thank you. We appreciate you. We salute you. We'll do it again tomorrow. SEC Parlay Pick presented by Brian Hard Construction. I remind you that we call this program The Game, and the only way that you win the big game, the game of life, is to walk daily with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Good night, T-Town.
Thank you for listening to The Game with Ryan Fowler.